What's up, everybody? Good morning and a very happy Thursday to all of you. DK Show coming to you from the TDS Sports Talk studios this morning. Thanks for making us a part of your start. If you're already up and at it, whether you are listening on the radio dials, 105.1 FM, 790 AM, also streaming it up online at sportstalk1051.com. You got the Wisco Sports App. You got the YouTube stream going on. You got Alexa devices. Just say, "Yo, Alexa, play WAYY." Listen up at our website, sportstalk1051.com. Multiple different ways for you to be joining us on a TAKEOVER Thursday, which means that you can hit us up with some fun topics and text them on over. Got a segment or a topic in mind that you'd like to discuss or throw out for the rest of the listeners to talk about, send it on over, all right? You can hit us up on that Shoe Doctor's bullpen line, 715-830-1912, or throw it up on the YouTube video stream. What do we have on the game plan for us this morning? Coming up in a couple of hours, 9:30, our good friend Rob Demovsky from ESPN.com will be joining us. We'll chat about Rich Bisaccia stepping down as special teams coordinator for the Packers, and the latest that is happening at 1265 Lombardi Avenue. So Rob, kind enough again to join us coming up in a couple hours from now, about 9:30 this morning. So we do have some green and gold chat on the dockets. We'll talk some Brewers as we are getting set for our first spring training game for the Brew Crew coming up this weekend. Kind of a little countdown to the season and such. Want to know, who do you think is the Brewers' breakout candidate for this year? Maybe that player that's just gonna take a huge step this year, or just surprise a ton of people, or maybe even a breakout in a sense that maybe they're kind of an all-star level player and such. But give me a candidate. Try to narrow it down to one. Give me a breakout candidate for the Brewers this year as we get set for the first spring training game of the season and inching a little bit closer and closer to the regular season starting next month. So we've got Brewers chat galore this morning. Also, no Bucks game tonight, but we do have the Bucks back in action tomorrow, and it's the countdown to the final 29 games of the regular season. Do you think the Bucks, where's your confidence level is in a scale of like 1 to 10? Confidence level between 1 to 10 on the Bucks maybe doing enough to just squeak in to the postseason, into the top 10 of the Eastern Conference standings. Right now, they're 12th in the Eastern Conference standings. They're still chasing, the Bulls, they're tied with the Bulls, but the Bulls have the slightest edge in win percentage. Bulls 436, the Bucks 434, but Bucks 1.5 games behind the Atlanta Hawks for that 10th spot in the Eastern Conference Finals. So where's your confidence level that maybe the Bucks can pull something together in these final 29 games and get into that play-in? In case you're wondering, they're 6.5 back from Philly for that 6 spots where they would avoid the play-in round. So we'll talk some hoops. We'll talk some Bucks as we get set for the Bucks tomorrow to tip off their not really their second half, but pretty much almost like the final quarter of the regular season for the Bucks. So we'll talk some Winter Olympics for all you hockey fans. Yesterday was probably a pretty crazy day, pretty entertaining day in terms of the Winter Olympics. Canada surviving and picking up the win. Team USA taking down Sweden in overtime too, advancing to the semis. So pretty entertaining day yesterday in terms of the Winter Olympics. Quick update on the medal counts. Norway still leading the way with 15 golds and 33 total. Team USA, 7 golds, 24 total medals. So, but we just only got a few more days left to wrap up this 2026 Winter Olympic Games. So it is also Enough is Enough Thursday. What's the sports narrative? What's the sports opinion? What's the sports story that's out there where you were just like, you know what, man, enough is enough. Enough is enough with insert something and whatever the case may be. What's that sports opinion? What's that sports take that you're just like, enough is enough with this thing already? So we'll get to that. We'll do a little outdoor chat with Jake. So if you have any fishing, hunting, outdoor related questions, Jake will be joining us again about 8:30 this morning. So please send those texts on over. 715-830-1912, along with your Takeover Thursday topics. So that's kind of your game plan for us this morning. Let's pitter patter. Let's get at her, shall we? We got lots to get to here this morning. We're going to try to cover everything here. Plus, I know on the prep side too, we've got playoff hockey going on all across the board, boys and girls playoff hockey. So it's top-seeded Hudson's going to be in action against Tomahawk. Eau Claire Memorial is going to be visiting Superior. Chippewa Falls is going to be visiting Stevens Point. New Richmond will visit Wausau West. That's all D1, D2. You got Spooner Shell Lake taking on Amory Co-op. Rice Lake will be taking on Frederick Co-op. On the girls' side, Eau Claire North Co-op will be taking on West Salem Co-op. Chippewa Falls McDonald Menominee will also be taking on Somerset Co-op, and Hudson will be visiting Black River Falls, and Hayward Co-op hosting Metford Rib Lake. So big day in terms of some prep playoff hockey as well. A little bit more locally here too for college basketball. Both the UW Eau Claire men's and women's teams are falling to UW Platteville, but UW Stout men's and women's teams picking up wins against UW River Falls as we start to wrap up the regular season for WIAC basketball. So, all right, let's get things going here this morning. We got intern Carter joining us as well. So let's pitter-patter. Let's get at her. We'll take our first break, and then we'll get things rocking and rolling this morning on the leadoff. We'll be right back in just a couple quick minutes. Pain doesn't have to slow you down. At Chippewa Valley Orthopedics and Sports Medicine, their experienced team is focused on getting you back to doing what you love, whether that's competing on the field, staying active, or simply moving without discomfort. From joint pain and sports injuries to advanced surgical and non-surgical treatments, they provide personalized care designed around you. Local experts, advanced techniques, real results. If pain is holding you back, take the next step forward towards recovery. Chippewa Valley Orthopedics and Sports Medicine, helping you move better every single day. So, all right, let's get things going here this morning. Good morning, intern Carter. Let's say good morning to our buddy. How you doing?
Pretty good.
Yeah, you're doing some play-by-play for hockey tonight, so getting ready for that. What's your favorite sport to do play-by-play for?
Hockey.
Is it hockey?
Yeah.
Yeah. Is it just constant action back and forth sort of thing?
Yeah, a lot of action, a lot of fun.
Yeah. So. Were you, because you're kind of between you and C-Bomb are our main hockey fans, I think. The Olympics yesterday was pretty.
It was a blast.
Yeah.
I mean, I got to watch only the first period of the USA game, but the whole Canada game.
Yeah.
Just there's something about watching a well-run power play. Just Canada runs that so well, so it's just so fun to watch.
Yeah, so it's setting up pretty close here. We're going to get that USA versus Canada, the one I think a lot of us want to see for that gold medal game.
Yeah, when Canada was losing, I'm like, do I want them to lose? Like, I kind of want to see that game.
Yep.
Even though I want USA to win, I want to see USA-Canada.
Yep.
So.
Yeah. Have we heard anything about Sidney Crosby? Is he good to go or anything like that?
That's a good question.
I know he had left the game early, but I wasn't sure if he was going to be, if it's going to be a long-term thing or not. So, okay. So 11 minutes ago, he had missed practice. It looks like misses practice ahead of the semifinal with Finland. Status is still unclear as Canada prepares for another do-or-die game. So that would be a huge loss, right?
It would be. But, I mean, they're hockey players, so unless he tore his ACL, he's going to play. So
There you go. So I forgot to mention a little bit earlier, too, I do want to do a little inside the hobby here coming up, too, because I saw this story about a Michael Jordan card. You're talking about maybe $2 million for a card. Can you think about that? Like, I was thinking like when I was younger with some of these cards, because my kid now is watching this show on Netflix. I think it's King of Collectibles or whatever it's called. It's like Golden Auctions. And they were like talking, 90s, these cards were probably like $1,000, but now they're like six figures. It's insane. But yeah, there's apparently a Jordan card that estimated $2 million it's going to go for. Unbelievable. I don't even know if I would ever have that amount of money. As much as I love sports and collecting, and like my collection is nothing. It's just random stuff and like base cards or whatever. I don't know if I would have that amount of money if I could spend it on a sports card.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
As much as I think that would be so cool, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I maybe would rather put it towards purchasing the Seattle Seahawks right now.
There you go.
But that, man, should we start a GoFundMe maybe? Because that's going to be billions upon billions of dollars.
Yeah. That would be fun, though. They're a good team. So I think, let's own the Seahawks.
Right. Coming off of a Super Bowl championship. So, I mean, if you're the new owner, you'd be able to get a Super Bowl ring after that, I would think, too, right? Kind of, maybe. So, but, C-Bomb, 3 overtime games in 1 day. Dang, I cannot believe how atrocious that defense was for Canada's game winner. They let him walk right between 3 of them. I'd lose my mind if my squirts allowed that. So, but yeah, that's, again, from C-Bomb here this morning. So, C-Bomb, seems like even the last couple of years you've been getting more into hockey here as well. So, but yeah, it was definitely entertaining. I was even tuning in yesterday too. So, all right. Again, we're going to be talking some Packers coming up a little bit later on. Rob Demovsky from ESPN, our good buddy, will be joining us. The latest on the Rich Bisaccia. Rich Bisaccia stepping down as special teams coordinator and such. So we're kind of now just waiting to see what Matt LaFleur is going to be doing in terms of who he's going to bring in. Is it going to be somebody who's potentially a veteran coach that has been a special teams coordinator for a long time? Does he go with an up-and-coming assistant and such? We'll pick the brain of Rob coming up at about 9:30 this morning. But baseball, we've got spring training, first game for the Brewers coming up here, this weekend. Starting to maybe get into a little bit of little baseball mood. I know now this latest snow has probably put a little bit of a damper on it because it was starting to feel like baseball season here a little bit. But, it is Wisconsin, so it's probably going to snow at least one or two more times coming up. It always, around the state basketball tournament, I think we get like a snowstorm or something around there, around March Madness and such too. But, Brewers, Sal Frelick, my guy. It seems like every day it's kind of a different player that kind of talks to the media and kind of, we get his takes and such. So he was talking a little bit yesterday and such. But, I was thinking, who do you think, and I'm throwing this out for the rest of the listeners out there, who do you think is the potential to be a breakout player for the Brewers this year? And by breakout, taking a fairly sizable leap, right? Taking a fairly sizable leap, maybe kind of borderline or not quite all-star, but maybe this year he takes that leap to be an all-star. Do we define, was Terrain kind of a breakout last year, or, is Jackson Cheerio a breakout candidate, even though he's kind of already, I think there's room obviously to get better and such, but I'm going to be a little biased. I'm picking my guy Sal Frelick to be a breakout player this year. There's probably a few options you could pick from the pitching department to be breakout players and such, but anybody kind of pop off at the top of your head for a potential breakout player for the Brewers?
For me, I've always been high on this guy. Obviously, the health is the main concern, but I really like Garrett Mitchell. He's a toolsy player. He's a good outfielder. He's got speed. He's got power. He's just got to stay healthy. I'm hoping this is the year. I'm really hoping this is the year where he puts it all together.
They really need him.
Yeah.
They really need him.
Even, everybody's talking about how we need power, but he could supply that. Garrett Mitchell was a power hitter. He just got to return to that form.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I know last year that was kind of the talk with him that, was he going to be the guy? I mean, it felt like he was the guy they were counting on to fill in that power from Willie Adames leaving. And, again, his biggest issue has just been health. Can he stay healthy? And I think he's still kind of an unknown at this point. We've seen, it was a couple of years ago, they obviously thought well of him to put him in, number 3 in the middle of the lineup at such towards the end of the season. Heck, the Shredder rankings before last season came out, they listed him as a top 10 center fielder already. And I was like, oh, okay. But obviously injuries really derailed last season for him. But he is definitely a guy that they really need, I think, just to stay healthy and see what they got over there.
The Brewers definitely think highly of him because I think if they didn't, they would have traded him by now. The interesting thing is I saw an interview with him, and he was like, I got to take less risks, which for me it was like when have you taken a risk and got hurt? I mean, stealing isn't really a risk. He hurt his shoulder a couple years ago, sliding in the third. Maybe that was last year. I don't even remember his injury last year. But it's not by him taking risks. It's by playing baseball. And that's the problem.
Right. Yeah. One guy too, and maybe he was a little bit more banged up than we thought because Frelick was talking with the media yesterday, and he's a guy who is not playing in the World Baseball Classic. Apparently was going to play for Team Italy, but then he apparently backed out. He said he was fully committed, but then when he had his end-of-the-year MRIs, he said he was pretty banged up. I talked with the team, and they were like, it would just be smart to have a full offseason of lifting and rehab to get to 200% coming into spring so I could get to opening day fully healthy. It says Frelick knows there's no such thing as 200%, but his point is, quote, I don't want to go in at 100%. I want to be at above 100%. So, and this is a guy we have seen, he uses his body all across the board. Whether it's making catches at the wall, diving, base pass, that sort of thing. And and he still played in 142 games last year too. He's not the biggest dude out there. Sal Frelick, is it? So, Pat Murphy said that he thinks he's still got another step. There's another step for him. It's kind of cool. So, I don't know what that step is. I don't know if it's a little bit more pop or power, but I'm bullish on my guy Sal Frelick. So
yeah, I don't really know what else you could ask for him. I mean, he puts the ball in play, he steals bases, and he makes crazy catches. I mean,
yep.
Obviously you can always hit a little better when you're batting like 250, but I mean, as a Brewers fan, we'll take that because that's our whole team. So
right, yeah, exactly. And he's a guy that you could plug in a couple different spots within the lineup. You know, they toyed a little bit with him batting in the leadoff last year, which I liked because he's such a high energy guy, and then you get him on leadoff, and then you already instantly have some speed on the base pass a little bit. We've seen him in the middle of the lineup, not really a 3-4 guy, but maybe 5-6, somewhere around there. But you know, last year he hit 288, had an OPS of 756, did have 12 home runs, and 63 RBIs at 19 stolen bases, which maybe I'd like to see that get up a little bit more.
Yeah.
If he does bat maybe higher up in that order, kind of utilize that speed a little bit. So.
Yeah, Jackson Cherry is not a leadoff hitter.
No.
I don't know how many times we need to keep playing him there, but so I think Sal Frelick is able to take that leadoff position. I think he should going into next year. Just Jackson Cherry struggles in the leadoff for whatever reason.
Yeah, I think my preferred lineup would be, and it's all, I mean, it adjusts throughout the season, would be like a Frelick. Do you go Terang or Yelich or Cheerio? Probably Jackson at 2.
Yeah.
Then, because you got Terang speed too, then it gets interesting between Yelich, Terang, and Contreras. Like, how much do they think Terang's, because they were talking about his power at the end of the last season. Is that going to be something that's still going to get better? I don't know, because I want Terang towards the top too to utilize that speed. So that's the other. Do you put Terang at leadoff? But then you have they got options.
Yes.
I'm glad I'm not Murphy and trying to figure that out. They got options. So, and then Garrett Mitchell, if he does get healthy and he can stay healthy, then you kind of see what maybe to put him in that lineup too. So. For some people, it might not be the greatest options in terms of power, but this is the Brewers lineup that we got right now. So, and I know one of your takeover questions too was about third base, right? Does it make the Caleb Durbin trade better or look better? And it's kind of a question that I think we had a listener earlier on in the week kind of throw out there. When you look at it from maybe a depth perspective now with the Brewers, with Hamilton and Luis, adding in, I put Jet Williams into that conversation. If you look at those three compared to what it was just a couple weeks ago with Caleb Durbin, Andrew Monasterio, and Siegler, overall, is it a better group now than what it was? I think you can make the case. I think from a veteran standpoint, depth-wise, it's better. I'd rather have Hamilton and Luis compared to Monasterio and Siegler. The big thing is Jet Williams. It's still of an unknown, but I think they feel his ceiling is higher than Caleb Durbin's at this point.
I wonder if the plan is to do what they did with Durbin with Jet Williams, because honestly, I just thought he was going to start third when they traded him, but now that they signed somebody, I think it's a strong possibility where Jet starts in AAA, like Durbin, comes up like Durbin in April or May, and then takes it. But I like you said, top to bottom, your depth is better. Mm-hmm. So,
yeah. I like, and I agree with you. I think by having a couple of veterans now at that spot with the Luis signing, they're not forced to rush decisions on a Jet Williams or anybody. Like they're not, their hands aren't tied. Like, okay, we got to play the guy, even though he may not be ready to play third base. Like Caleb Durbin was last year, right? I mean, he was a guy that was transitioning to third, didn't have a lot of time, but there was mostly seconds, a little bit of short. They had him go down to AAA, played more third, brought him up, and he got better as the season progressed over at third base. So I think you're right too. That it allows them to be a little bit more I don't know if cautious is the right word, but just bring him along slowly. If the vision is Jet Williams essentially finishing the season as a third baseman.
And for me, now like the trade makes sense. Like just in my opinion, because now you've got kind of a runway at third in case Jet Williams doesn't work out right away.
Yep.
Or in case Hamilton is not playing well. Like Durbin obviously is something that's going to be missed, but you got 2 experienced pitchers and then the ability to add Rengifo. It just, I don't know. The Durbin trade just makes sense for me now.
Yeah, it does. I think it does too, because we were kind of like waiting and saying, okay, what's next? And it wasn't a trade for a power guy or anything like that. But, with Luis coming in here too, and I know the metrics say he's not a good defensive third baseman, but if Jet Williams does come up, he's your utility guy off the bench because he's got experience playing short, second, third. He's got all those different options. So you got a little bit of depth that way. He's kind of your Monasterio then, but maybe with a little bit of a higher ceiling in terms of offense.
And I think also part of the mindset is you kind of want experience when you're coming off the bench, like Monasterio, where Siegler was just awful coming off the bench.
Right.
And I don't know if experience contributed to that at all, but when you've got guys that have started and have backed up before now on your bench, and to be able to play them in a spot is big.
Yep. Totally agree. All right, we got to take a quick break, but we got plenty more to get to, so stick around. We'll be back after these quick words. When it comes to quality meats, you don't guess. You go to the experts at Mike's Star Market in Eau Claire. You're not just buying meat, you're buying experience. Hand-cut steaks, fresh ground beef, house-made brats and sausages, thick-cut chops done exactly the way that you like them. This is your neighborhood butcher shop, where quality comes first and service still matters. Planning a cookout, stock it up for the week, or looking for that perfect steak for dinner tonight? Stop on into Mike's Star Market in Eau Claire and taste the difference that a real butcher makes. Mike's Star Market, fresh, local, and done right. We've got Joe on the stream saying he's a huge hockey fan. I will say, if there's like one sport that I wish I was a bigger fan of, it probably would be hockey. That and maybe soccer. Like, I wish I could just... Hockey, I'm getting into it, and I will say it is way better to watch in person.
Yes.
It is way better. I know we've talked about that. But if there was a sport that I wish I was a bigger fan of, it'd probably be like hockey or soccer. You know, I think I'm fairly big in football, baseball, basketball, but those would probably be the other ones. Do you have one that you wish you were a little maybe more invested in?
I guess probably a little bit of golf.
Okay.
Maybe just a little bit.
Yeah.
I watched the Masters a little bit, but besides that, I'm kind of out of that world.
Yeah. See, I love golfing, but I will say my interest in watching it has really waned down over the years because of no T-Dub, no Tiger Woods. Mm-hmm. So I need my next Tiger Woods, and I don't know who that's going to be. So did see he talked the other day. And he didn't rule out playing the Masters this year, but it still sounds like it. He said he could take full shots, but it's not all good shots right now.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
I don't know why he'd compete, to be honest.
He's like Jordan. He's the ultimate competitor. He's like, it's hard to give up. I think a lot of it, he doesn't want to go out this way. Doesn't want to go out because of injuries. You know, and the fact that he's probably still close to Jack in the major championships and such, but I
don't think he can win it is the problem anymore.
And I think that's what fuels him, because people don't think he can win it. So
yeah.
that's probably his mindset of proving people
that's
wrong.
True.
I think it would be amazing if he were to ever win another major. If it's going to happen, I would think it'd be at the Masters, of course, that he knows so well, but I don't know. He did talk about too, because I know there's been some talk about whether he was going to play, Champions Tour and such, and sounds like he is open for that, and part of it is because he could ride a cart.
There you go.
So, which he said he would never do that with the PGA because he doesn't believe in that. He's not for that. But Champions, yeah, sure. Sounds like so. But he would, I'd be curious if he started playing Champions, if he would dominate that tour, or would he be just kind of an average, regular golfer on the Champions? Because I think you asked 10 years ago, people probably would assume that Tiger was going to dominate on the Champions. But now, with all these injuries and such, I don't know. I don't know. But I'll watch it. I'll still watch it if he's out there. So, but I was trying to find, speaking of like Jordan and that, for our little inside the hobby. Yeah, this card apparently is a 1997, his first ever 1 of 1. And it's expected to go for around $2 million.
It's crazy.
That's insane. That is just nuts. Some kid probably pulled that back in 97 and said, oh, cool, Jordan. But never thought at one day it'd be like $2 million flipping dollars. We'll say the one autograph I wish I did have is Tiger Woods. But that's so expensive too.
Yeah.
So it's like, no, I will never be able to afford that. Maybe my wife for my 40th this year would be a good birthday gift.
Yeah, throwing it out there.
Just saying. But that'll never happen either. So, never happen. Are you a big autograph person?
I don't think I have any autographs, really. I mean, I'd love one. But for me, it'd have to be like the right player almost. Like,
who would it be then for you? Got to put you on the spot now.
It's a good question. I don't know. I'd have to think about that.
Well, I'm going to ask you again later on. So you got that number one, that one that you want the most. Yeah, think about it. So, but yeah, $2 million. If any Jordan fans out there wanna, there's actually, if you go to Heritage Auctions, they got a ton of Jordan stuff for sale right now. And I swear, some of the cars that they got up there, I used to have as a kid. But I was an idiot, and in elementary school, I got taken for trades from my friends because I was not a Jordan fan as a kid. So I only wanted to collect players I liked.
Yep.
And part of it was trading Jordans off. So really regret that. Really regret. Yeah, check that Honus Wagner one. Look at that. 25 million. Is that right? 25 million? Or no, that's total bids. Never mind.
Total
okay.
bids.
Does that say current total bid?
Yeah.
Or that's the catalog auction? Okay, I think that's the whole auction. That's kind of misleading, though.
It's, yeah, wow. I don't know.
That's really misleading. Okay. But it's just, yeah, some of this stuff is insane. Just ridiculous. But, all right. I'll throw it out to the rest of our listeners out there. Is there a sport that maybe you wish you were a bigger fan of? Or maybe that you could get into a little bit more. Oh, is that the onus? 1.9 million is the current bid?
1.9 million.
It's estimated at 3 million. Jesus. Wow. Insane. All right. But if there is that one sport that maybe you were just a little bit more of a fan of, what would it be? I know the one sport I wish I could play, and I am going to do this. I want to do a video series where I've already talked to somebody yesterday to do the first one. But I want to do a video series where I try a bunch of sports and just embarrass myself. Like, I can't skate, so I'm going to do a hockey one.
Okay.
I'm going to try. I already talked to our good friend, Mr. Varsho. I'm going to try to hit a fastball like 90-some miles an hour. Yeah, see, you're grinding your teeth. Like, yeah, I know. It's like the hardest thing. Everybody says it's the hardest thing to do in sports. I'm going to try it, and we're going to record it just to see how hard it is and make me look foolish. I want to go 1v1 versus a really good basketball player. I want to go 1v1 against a wide receiver and get, I'm going to put, I'm probably going to be hurting a lot, ego and physically, but I'm going to do that.
So is this route like tackle?
Oh, yeah. I'm going to put the pads on and the helmet. Yep. Oh, yeah. Just got to work out the kinks and find the people who are willing to do that. So, oh, yeah. I got the pitching one lined up already, but gonna have to do the other ones. But I know I've always wanted to try lacrosse.
Okay.
I've always wanted to play that. And I always thought that would be such a fun one. It was just never available when we were younger and such, but I always thought that would be a fun one to kind of try. So, but maybe now I can as a soon-to-be 40-year-old and really make my ego take a huge hit. So, I don't know about rugby there, Surveyor. I just know. I feel like, I don't know if anybody has watched Friends before, but it's like the Ross episode that he's dating this girl who used to date somebody who's a rugby player, so he tries to play in rugby, and it doesn't go well. That would be me. Ross from Friends trying to play rugby. So.
I don't get the point of rugby. I don't.
Oh, those are gonna be fighting words
I'm
for
sure
Surveyor.
Surveyor's tell me about it.
He's rugby all the way, man. He's gonna come after you now. Just warning you there, sir. So, C-Bomb says, let's get JP to come throw some heaters. Yeah, I don't know if he'd want that, though, dude. Never mind. I was going to say middle's open, but no, I wouldn't probably put. If I get a foul tip-off one, I'd be happy. So, all right. Hey, C-Bomb, if you can set it up, then let's do it. I'm going to put C-Bomb in charge of that one. So, all right, we got to take a quick break, and then we're going to wrap up the first hour. We'll be right back for these quick words. Looking for reliable auto service in Eau Claire? Well, you've got options, and both of them are right here at AJM Automotive. With 2 convenient locations in Eau Claire, AJM Automotive makes it easy to get the care your vehicle deserves. Whether it's routine maintenance, brake work, engine repairs, or diagnostics that you can trust, friendly experts, honest advice, quality service that gets you back on the road safely. Want details on services, hours, specials, and more? Check out AJM Automotive's Facebook page and their website, ajmautomotiveservices.com, for everything you need. AJM Automotive, dependable service done right here in Eau Claire. Surveyor, here's a message from C-Bomb. Says rugby is for ladies that can't play football. Okay, come on.
See,
now.
I didn't say that.
Yeah,
you
didn't say it. Come on, C-Bomb. Come on. So, Thursday, our surveyor says Thursday is we are the producers, right? While the recent news about a certain quarterback about to be released, the Packers should go and sign Justin Fields as a backup to Jordan. Minimal cost and someone who could be competent in LaFleur's offense. All right. Justin Fields as a backup. What about that?
I've always liked Justin Fields.
Yeah.
I think he was fine with the Bears. Obviously, nobody's going to be good with the Jets, and he was fine with the Steelers. I would like that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it'd get a good backup in there. I don't want to go into the season with Desmond Ridder as our backup. That'd be
you
my
don't
preference.
want to? No,
I don't think so. It's not the worst, and Matt LaFleur is known for getting the best out of his quarterbacks for sure.
Right.
But I would love for them to add somebody like Justin Fields.
I do think one of the things that is, or topics that really hasn't been getting a ton of talk about, is the importance of Green Bay finding their new backup quarterback, because as we have seen the last couple of years, is Jordan Love getting hurt and the team having to rely on Malik Willis. And Malik Willis has done very well for Green Bay. So I think it's incredibly important, and maybe not talked enough about, that Green Bay's got to figure out their backup quarterback position.
Yeah, 2 years ago when we traded for Malik Willis, a 7th-round pick, he went 3-0 that year when he started. Mm-hmm. Let's just say a normal backup quarterback should go about 1-2 in 3 games. Like that's the goal. It's 30% win percentage with the backup quarterback. If the Packers would have lost another game that year, they're out of the playoffs. Mm-hmm. This last year, he led them on the drive versus the Giants, which obviously Jordan Love came back, but that was a big turning point. And Malik Willis has his fingerprints the last 2 years on us making the playoffs, because in one loss in each of the last 2 years, we would be out of the playoffs in both years.
Right.
And that's not Jordan Love being soft. That's guys getting injured in football.
Right.
And so the ability to have a backup quarterback come in and sustain a drive, keep the offense afloat, is massive for this next year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Chad says that may be the best idea I've ever heard Surveyor come up with. Each of the last 2 years, we might not have even been into playoffs if not for a competent backup. The position must be addressed, and I think Fields would be perfect in this system. So, I'll be honest, I did not. I'm assuming Justin Fields is probably going to get released, for cap casualty and such. But and I think if you're Justin at this point, do you go the Sam Darnold route and go to a situation where, all right, you kind of, you sit, you're the backup, but maybe you go into a situation where obviously Matt LaFleur and the Green Bay system has helped quarterbacks, like Sam Darnold went to the 49ers, right, under Kyle Shanahan, back to Brock Purdy and such. And then he got another shot with Minnesota, and, well, now he's a Super Bowl champ. So I don't know if that's something Justin Fields would be willing to do at this point. But, maybe from a career standpoint, it might be kind of wise. The dude's only, it says here 26. He's going to be 27 next month, so he's still incredibly young.
His career has been weird to me just because, he played well with the Bears last year, and then he won games with Pittsburgh and still got benched. I think he was 4-1. Then got benched for Russell Wilson, which we all thought was coming. but then he goes to the Jets, and nobody plays well on the Jets. But I think there's talent there.
I do too.
I really do.
I think he has just been not put into great situations, or with Bears and such. I don't think they did enough around him. Pittsburgh offensively is just, it's been all over the place. And then, anybody who goes to the Jets right now is just, it's a complete mess sort of thing. I don't think he has just been put in a great situation, kind of like Sam Darnold has for a big majority of his career. So, all right, I'm not opposed to that. I'm not opposed to that at all. Why not? So, I don't know if that's something that Green Bay would do, but I think if I'm Goody, I look at, okay, what Malik Willis was able to do, and I don't think they expected that from Malik Willis the last couple of years. I think we could be real here too. I don't think they expected that to happen at all. But knowing that, all right, Jordan's gotten banged up, and like both of you said, they're probably not in the playoffs without Malik Willis's performance. Backup quarterback's pretty important. It's not Brett Favre anymore, where you could kind of count on him, and it's kind of a joke on who the backup quarterback is, or Jim Sorgi was always the mag tag repairman for the Colts, backing up Peyton Manning because he was never hurt for the longest time. I think that's on a list of priorities. That would be something, if I'm Green Bay, I'm looking at, making sure you got that spot secured.
It's interesting for me to think about how this team could be different if we didn't have Malik. Like, I don't think LaFleur wouldn't be our coach. I doubt.
Ooh, that's a good point.
Because
too,
we wouldn't make the playoffs last year. And this year, I don't know. Then would Goody still be here? There are so many possibilities if we don't have Malik Willis.
That's a big what if. What if Goody had never traded for Malik Willis? Does Goody and Matt LaFleur still have jobs? And everything else played out the same, right? Jordan Love missed some time. You had to play maybe Sean Clifford or whoever the backup. That's a good question. I don't think they make the playoffs. And, I guess if I were to pick, I'd probably say no, they're not there. More so, I'd probably say no to LaFleur. But can you make the case that, Malik Willis might have saved some jobs? That's an interesting point. That's a really interesting point. How about the rest of you? What do you think? All right, shot clock's going to cut us off here in less than a minute, but keep those coming. All right, keep those thoughts coming. Good stuff. No more trash talk between C-Bomb and Surveyor, though. You two keep it off the radio. You two go at it in your own time there. All right, coming up next hour, we'll get back to some more baseball talk. We've got hoops chats. Continue to send. Surveyor, that was a good takeover Thursday. Keep those topics flowing. All right, send those on over 715-830-1912. Reminder, we'll talk some green and gold, too, with Rob Demovsky from ESPN coming up at 9:30. If you have any outdoor questions that you want Mr. Jake Boakes to answer at 8:30, you can send those on over as well so we can get those to Jake. So, all right, there's your shot clock right now. One in. First quarter is already in the books. We'll take a quick break, but we'll be back with plenty more coming up after these news updates. All right, second hour kicking off right now on this Thursday morning. Appreciate you tuning in wherever, however you may be tuning in from. Got to reset where we're at here. Coming up at 9:30, we'll chat with ESPN's Rob Demovsky. We'll get his take on the latest with Rich Bisaccia and special teams coordinator and all that stuff going down in Green Bay. So we got that. We got Jake Boakes joining us at 8:30 as normal time on Thursdays. We'll do some outdoor chats with him. He'll be joining us again at 8:30. So send in your questions to him. It is a Takeover Thursday. So if you've got a topic in mind, you've got a that you want to throw out to the rest of our listeners, this is where you can act like the producer. Send them on over. And apparently rugby is the biggest one right now with that because we did have a texter asked, do rugby players wear pads and helmets? Well, no to the helmets. But I'll defer to Surveyor and say, I don't know if they wear any sort of other pads underneath. I don't know. Surveyor's played it, so I'll defer to Surveyor and such. But as Surveyor did say, I'm just going to let the trash talk go to the wayside because everyone knows only people with the biggest huevos play rugby. So you cannot, I will not play rugby. I challenge C-Bob to try. C-Bob, I know intern Carter has never met C-Bob. C-Bob's a big dude. Okay, he's a big dude. I don't think C-Bomb would have the courage to play rugby. So I'm calling him out right now to see that. So when we do our video series, maybe we could get C-Bomb to try to play rugby.
Yeah, there you go.
And then we'll do that. So we are trying to work on Surveyors helping out with this. Were you ever Boy Scouts, Carter?
No.
Okay. I've wanted to do this for years. People listening, long time. Okay, Surveyor, by the way, said no pads and only a scrum cap is allowed. So I don't know exactly what a scrum cap is, but I'm assuming it's got a little padding on there. Anyways, adult Pinewood Derby car races. So like in Boy Scouts, if anybody was in Boy Scouts, we had these little Pinewood Derby cars, right? I got a second place trophy on my Reggie White Packer one from when I was in Boy Scouts. I've always wanted to do this. Surveyor reached out yesterday and said, hey, let's do this. So he's on the prowl to find a track. And if he can do it, or if he can find one, we're going to do our very first annual
There you go.
adult Pinewood Derby. So everybody, you can get the kit for like $15 on the website. So.
I was in like Awana at one point and we had to make one.
Yeah.
And yeah. So I got second best looking, not place, but second best looking.
I still remember I was 9. I think it was 9. I lost to a car that was carved out in a pig. It still bothers me to this day. Yeah. I don't know why, but I had a Reggie White car, and I lost to one that was like carved out as a pig. So, just boils my. I need that rematch. I got to find out who that was back in Medford back in the day, and then do that. But we're working on it. So we're gonna make it a Backyard Dreams events. So shout out to Surveyor for doing some of the legwork on that too. So, but should be fun. Looking forward to if we could get that going. So, come, see, Bob, I can't say that stuff. Come on, dude. Come on, just stop. I can't say that stuff. Come on, dude. All right, keep sending some cleaner versions of topics for Cry Eye. You can text those on over to 715-830-1912 on that Shoe Doctors bullpen line. Bucks are back at it tomorrow as we kind of get set for the final quarter-ish. Not quite final quarter, numbers-wise, but Bucks currently 1.5 games back from that last playoff spot in the Eastern Conference standings. Beginning of the program, I asked for a gauge. Where's your confidence level that they can maybe go on a little bit of a run here and maybe get into that top 10? So on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being like, dude, it's guaranteed, it's going to happen. 1 saying, no shot, just tank it for the rest of the year. Where are you at on a scale of 1 to 10? And I still argue that this upcoming schedule for the Bucks is what's going to make or break whether they're going to be able to make the postseason, because they open up Friday tomorrow against the against the Pelicans. They're going to be in New Orleans, but after that is just an insane run of games at home. Good competition because you got the Knicks, you got the Cavs, you got the Celtics all in there. One little quick road trip down south to Chicago, then you're back home again. So, I mean, there's that opportunity. And I haven't quite heard about Giannis when he's going to be back on the courts at this point. But on a scale of 1 to 10, how confident are you that the Bucks can get on a little bit of a run here and maybe squeak into the postseason? I'm probably at, I know they're 1.5. I'm probably at like a 5.5. I'm somewhere between 4 and 6, but I don't want to cop out and just say completely 5. So I'm like probably a 5.5, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
If Giannis plays during this home stretch, like at the beginning of this home stretch, then I'm like, okay, I feel a little bit better. But I'm probably maybe 5.5 at this point. And the thing, as you brought up there, he says he feels 100%. So I don't know if that means he's going to be able to be cleared to go, but yeah, he says I'm healthy today. I just got to check the boxes, whatever those potentially are. So, how are you? What 1 through 10? Your confidence level?
I was gonna say about 5. If Giannis comes back, I think they do pass the Hawks. I mean, they were playing. See, it's hard because they were playing awful until the All-Star break, and then they played well for Buck standards, and so now it's like, even though it's at home, it's a hard stretch. Yeah, I would say about 5.
Yeah,
I think they could pass the Hawks up.
I think they could pass the Hawks too.
Maybe even the Hornets.
Bulls, I think they should pass. Hornets are playing really good right now. Yeah, and I know that's still just to get in the play-in round isn't meeting the expectations that they had on this year. But let me just throw this out there. Let's say the Bucks get in, and let's say they advance through the play-in, wherever that is, and they end up playing, like a Pistons or a Celtics or whoever it is. Is that enough? If they win that play-in round and advance to the next round, is that enough maybe to convince Giannis to potentially stay? Maybe convince the Bucks to, I don't know, do some interesting stuff in the offseason? Like, where's that? I'd be curious to know where that level is at, where that minimum is at.
I really thought they were going to, my thought was they were going to trade Giannis. That was my thought. Right now he's going on so many news places, and he's just saying he's a Buck, and it's interesting to me because earlier in the year, I mean, I wanted him to shut down the trade rumors, and he never did, and now he is, and so I don't know. My confidence level in him getting traded is dropping.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I know now, like the popular thing for everybody out there to say is they should go get Kawhi Leonard in the offseason, which I still struggle to see Kawhi wanting to do that, considering he did not want to go to Toronto and they won a championship. He's a West Coast guy, and I feel like he's got a championship at hand, and I feel like Kawhi Leonard's the type of human being at this point in his career, he's just perfectly fine being back home in California. Mm-hmm. And I don't think he is going to force any. I could be wrong. I think Kawhi and Giannis would be an interesting pairing. Kawhi is having a really good year this year, but he's not that far removed, too, from having some injury issues as well. So that would be a little concerning for me at that point. But I don't have a good gauge of what the Bucks are going to do this offseason. So if they somehow rattle off 20 wins in their last 29, okay, now we got something. But that's not going to happen. I don't see them going 29. Last 29 games, how many wins do you think it's going to have to be to get in there? 14 and 15, 15 and 14, 16, maybe 16 wins? 16 and 13? That gets you to 39 and 43? Oh, gosh. I don't. This is so hard to predict with this team.
Yeah.
It's so hard. Like, even without Shea Gilgeous in that final game, the fact that they actually won those last 2 games of the regular season was actually surprising a little bit. But
and the Thunder game wasn't even close.
Yeah. And then when they did have Giannis, they were still losing all those games. So I don't know what to make of this team. I really don't. But all right. Tell you what, let's take a quick break. We'll regroup here, get back to some more baseball talk and such. So continue to send us your TakeOver Thursday segment ideas or topics. So as one texter says, Doc Rivers as coach, 0. Anyone else as coach, 5. Bring back Coach Bud, 10 all freaking day, baby. So bring back Coach Bud. Our good buddy Jason with that text. So, all right, we got to take a quick break. We'll be back with more, though, coming up after these quick words. Tax season is here, and that refund check, well, it's more than just extra spending money. It's an opportunity. This year, why not invest it right where you live? Upgrade your home with some beautiful new flooring from Carpet City Flooring Center in Eau Claire. Whether you've been dreaming about warm, comfortable carpet, durable luxury vinyl planks like the innovative Ridge and Max flooring, or some waterproof options perfect for those busy families, now's the time to make it happen. Your tax return could go a long way towards transforming the look and feel of your home. And at Carpet City Flooring Center, you'll find expert guidance, professional installation, and flooring options for every budget. Don't let that refund disappear on the little things you won't even remember about next month. Put it towards something that you will see and enjoy every single day. Stop in to Carpet City Flooring Center in Eau Claire and turn your tax return into a home upgrade that you will love for years to come. Carpet City Flooring Center. Step into something better. So, kind of an informal question that we had a couple people thrown in there, but we asked if there was like a sport that you would like to maybe try or maybe get into a little bit more. Had cricket, had tennis, we had golf, we had a couple hockey ones in there too. Somebody had mentioned WWE, so you got that one in there too. But all right, so keep sending those on over and give me some ideas to try some sports and embarrass myself in some video stuff too. So even the ones that I think that I'm halfway decent at.
I think you should try WWE.
Oh. I know a buddy, and I don't know if he's listening right now, but he did some amateur stuff like that. He'd probably be all about that and say, let's get in the ring. And no, I don't think so. No, I don't need to see him in his tights and all that stuff. I don't need to see that. So, but, Surveyor. Okay. Yeah. Surveyor sent over the scrum cap. So yeah, it's like a padded hat. Almost looks like the concussion caps.
Guardian cap?
Yeah, guardian caps. Yeah, it almost looks like that a little bit. So, all right. But, send those on over if you want to participate in our little fun combo here on a TakeOver Thursday. Also, don't forget it is a Enough is Enough Thursday. What is the sports narrative, the sports talk, the opinion that is out there that you're just like, enough is enough? Send it on over. All right, you can text those on over or hit us up on the video stream as well. We were talking a little baseball in the first hour. Give us who you think is your Brewer breakout player candidates. Try to narrow it to one. If you can narrow it down to just one, who do you think is the biggest breakout candidate out there? You can make your selections. We've had a couple Sal Frelichs. We've had a couple Garrett Mitchells. We've had a couple of Chad Patricks on the list too. If you got any more players, you can feel free to send those on over. Speaking of TakeOver Thursday, I know one of your topics, intern Carter, was why did Rich Bisaccia choose to step down now? And that might be a good question for our guest Rob when he's with us in the 9 o'clock hour. But I wonder if a lot of it was, this is just my gut, I feel like LaFleur and Goody wanted him to stay. And I know Schefter said the other day that Bisaccia almost stepped down last year, and Bisaccia had a feeling of letting Matt LaFleur down. Excuse me. I wonder if it was more LaFleur and them tried to convince him to stay and say, take some time to think, don't let the emotions make your decision and such. And I think it finally he maybe stuck to his guns and said, nope, I'm gonna step down. I wonder if it was more so that, where LaFleur and Goody and the Packers wanted him back, but Rich was probably ready to step down.
Yeah. The main thing is the Packers season ended, a month ago? And so, and that's a little time, but in the NFL, it's a lot of time because there's been so many special teams coordinator changes that you're likely going to have to find a brand new guy now to come take his place instead of a veteran guy. And so it's just interesting timeline. Like I didn't expect yesterday, or I think it was Wednesday, which was yesterday, to hear that he stepped down. Like that wasn't my first thought. I wanted him back, and I think the Packers did too. I know when I saw it, one person was like, "This is just them not wanting to fire him, but wanting to fire him." That's not what happened here.
Yeah.
Because he would have been fired
a long
quickly.
time ago. Yeah.
And so this was him saying, "I'm ready to be done."
Yeah.
And he's not retiring, which is also interesting to me. He's saying, "I'm done with this."
Yeah.
So I don't know if it's the Packers not playing starters enough. I don't know if he's just saying, there's no more I can do with this team that you've given me. I don't know.
Yep. Yeah, it is, he's stepping down and sounds like maybe taking the year off. But, he is up there in age as well, too. So we'll see. I'm sure there'll probably be other opportunities down the line if he does want to get back into it and such. But I think the question now for me is going to be, okay, does LaFleur go experience for his new special teams coordinator? Because there are options out there. Does he go with maybe up-and-coming assistants to give them their first crack as a special teams coordinator? Does it matter if they don't play starters or if the front office doesn't give them players to go? The thing is, I don't know. I can't get into Matt LaFleur's mind, and I don't think there's a pattern that we could kind of figure out where he's going or where he's thinking, because he has surprised us, I think, on a lot of different things. We just assume it's all about connections with him. But you look at his last couple hires, he didn't know Jeff Hafley. He hired him. We all thought, it's going to be Raheem Morris is like one of his best. Nope. It was Jonathan Gannon, which I don't think he ever had a connection with either. So there's guys out there that are special teams coordinators that have connections with Matt LaFleur, but I think that's one thing we maybe need to not focus on more is he has made hires that he has not had connections with. So the other part of this, and maybe this isn't a big deal, but the assistant head coach title that Rich Bisaccia had too.
Yeah.
Is there a chance, and is it a priority that Matt LaFleur maybe tries to find a veteran coach to come in with that title as well? Or is nobody? And it's not to say every team has that. Every team doesn't have that, right? They don't have an assistant head coach. There are some that do. The Rams have one. There's others too, and I know some of the coaches that just got hired have brought in veterans as assistant head coaches and that. I don't know if that's something that LaFleur is thinking as well, and I don't think that the special teams coordinator that's coming in is going to get that title either. Bisaccia at least, has been around the league for a while and was an interim head coach, so he had a little bit of experience with that. But I don't know if that's something that LaFleur is thinking about too, adding somebody to come in as an assistant head coach.
I can see them just slapping that on Jonathan Gannon.
Yeah, maybe that.
But I would like a veteran, like you said, even if he's not just a coordinator, just come in. And while LaFleur's looking at the playbook, while LaFleur's trying to figure out the offense, just step in. That's what I think they do need to do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But I kind of said it yesterday, and I know Mason Crosby actually said a while ago, I think it was on his radio show, that he might be interested in being a special teams. Why don't more teams just have former kickers coming in and being the kicking coach? Yeah. What's the downfall of that? You know what I mean? You have your coordinator, I get it. But you look at across these teams, okay, you got the offensive coordinator, you got the defense coordinator, but then they have their position coaches underneath them too. Can't we get a kicking consultant to be with Waylon and Brandon McManus and such?
Yeah, especially somebody like Crosby that's good. I mean, he was good. So
a lot of experience kicking in the winds and the swirls of Lambeau Field too. So, why not? Why not? Throw it out there as a possibility. I feel like kicking is such a. I feel like if you have never kicked before, or you've never been a kicker, you might not quite understand or grasp what kickers go through or the preparation and that sort of thing. It'd be like somebody who's never golfed before becoming a golf coach or something. I feel like if you could bring somebody on board that kind of understands the process of what kickers go through, wouldn't that be beneficial?
Yeah, kicking is much harder than it looks. I think like even me as a fan, a lot of times I put too much. Like I'm too hard on kickers, but at the same time, like you should be too hard, but you should be hard at the same time.
Yeah.
Because kicking isn't the hardest position. It is hard, but you better hit a 40-yard field goal. So
that's your job, right?
Yeah.
That's your job, is to hit, especially in today's game, at least a 40-yarder. You have to. And it feels like for kickers, for whatever reason, the 40 to 49 is one of the most inconsistent ranges. Like, I feel kickers below that are really good. Heck, there's even some that are really good from 50 plus, but it's the 40 to 49. Like McManus, I think from 40 to 49 is really inconsistent with his numbers.
The problem with McManus, though, is he doesn't have the biggest leg. So then you get into 50s, and that's it. And so for like the Cowboys kicker, Aubrey, I think he does struggle from 40 to 49, but he can go make a 65-yarder. So he's good in the 50s range. McManus can only get up to 55. So there's a range there.
Right. Yeah. All right, we got to take another quick break here as we are approaching the halfway mark of the second quarter already. So continue to send us your thoughts on this TakeOver Thursday. We'll be right back after these quick words. Looking for a great night out in Eau Claire? Well, then you need to head to the VFW Post 305 on Star Avenue. Come for the food, stay for the atmosphere. From crowd favorite fish fries to burger, sandwiches, and daily specials, there's always something hot and delicious coming out of that kitchen. And it's not just about the menu. With live music, theme parties, community events, and there's always something new happening all the time at the VFW Post 305. It's where friends meet and good times happen. Great food, friendly faces, always something going on, including, here's a couple of things that are going on right now at the VFW Post 305. We've got, here you go, Surveyor at C-Bomb, if you're still listening. Put your championships to the test. The Hot Wing Challenge coming up this Saturday, February 21st at 4 p.m. All right, you guys have already kind of experienced that, so there you go, 4 p.m. this Saturday at the VFW Post 305. Plus, their soup flights are back by popular demand. I got to tell Brandon about that. He's going to love that. And then mark this on your calendars as well. Customer Appreciation Day at the VFW Post 305. In appreciation of your continued and unwavering and ongoing support of the VFW Post 305, please join them on Saturday, February 28th for $2 mugs of domestic beer all day long, as well as raffles and fabulous prizes. So, and mark it on your calendars too, because we'll be over there for our Hoops Skip Day, March 20th, Friday, March 20th. You know, also going on this week, speaking of, since we're talking about different sports to try and such, the Berkey in Hayward, it's the big cross-country race where it completely takes over Hayward, the Berkey Minor. So I've always been kind of curious to go try or watch that. I don't know if we've got any listeners in Hayward or anything like that. But, yeah, the Berkey, the big cross-country ski race where it's like 40,000 people coming. It completely takes over a town of Hayward and such. So I've always wanted to kind of check that out. I don't know if we got any listeners. I think it'd be cool to do a show from there sometime, do it on location. But I don't know if we've got any reach up there in good old Hayward and that. But that's happening this week, going on right now. I saw some videos. They were putting some snow down main streets. You got to plow the snow outside these couple of days, but they were adding some snow in there to continue our fish up the trail and such too. So yeah, there's stuff like that. I know they got lumberjacks. I don't know if I could do the log rolling. I'd probably fall and smack my head and fracture my skull or something like that. So trying to think of some non-traditional sports to go on there. But I tried cross-country skiing once in school. It did not work well. Have you gone skiing before?
I have not. I've gone snowboarding.
Okay. How would that go?
Not well.
Okay. When I was younger, I wanted to try that, but no, I think I'd probably tear my ACL and break an ankle. And
first time it went actually good, and then the second time I got concussed.
Oh,
that's
dude.
not good.
Yeah. No. Yeah, it was like a school thing. I think I was in middle school. We had to choose between downhill or cross country. And I think I chose cross country because I didn't want to crash going downhill.
See, but that is cross country. I've never done it. Is that a lot of work? That seems like a lot of work.
Cross country?
Yeah.
Oh, I probably, yeah. Because, I mean, you don't have the gravity to help you going down there. So, but no, if it's a small hill, maybe. Hey, if I gotta do it for some content, I might do it too. But no, I want to do hockey because I want to try to score a goal, and I can't skate. I've skated once in my life. It was elementary school. I don't think I could do it.
Yeah, no, I don't think so.
You don't think I can? I could pick it up in a day, right? Skating.
That's interesting. I don't know.
I've been studying film.
Okay.
Been studying film because my wife allegedly was a figure skater in high school, which I doubt, but she tells me she was. So I don't know, but at least she could probably teach me. I've only like rollerbladed or skated a couple times because Medford we used to have like a skate called Skateway. So it was like, I think Eau Claire has one, but
okay.
Yeah, you'd go around there. That was like the cool place to go for birthday parties in a town of like 4,300 people, and that's no longer there either. So, Surveyor says, I retired from Mega Hot Wings. I give it all during Festivus, and I have nothing left in the tank until December 23rd of this year, Surveyor, when maybe you want to defend that title. What if somebody challenges you, Surveyor? You got to do it. So, but yeah, if anybody is going to the Berkey and such, let me know. I'm curious, or if you have watched it before, I'm curious what it's like. It's definitely a big time attraction in our area and such. So, but yeah, I'd like to, it's on my list of things to check out for Wisconsin sports and such. So let's catch up on some other texts here. We got more breakout players for the Brewers. A lot of Garrett Mitchells and Sal Freliks. That's quite a few on there. We do have some pitchers kind of all across the board. Would you consider Jacob Misiorowski a breakout player for this year?
I don't think so. I mean, he kind of was the breakout player last year.
Yeah, it was like boom, and then fell off a little bit, injury, but then boom, came back.
I mean, obviously everybody can get better, but that's not really breaking out.
Yeah.
Like Jackson Churio.
Yeah.
Not really breaking out.
Yeah. I think it's... Oh, does anybody... I haven't seen anybody out there, but anybody willing to throw their name behind Joey Ortiz?
They're bold if they do that.
Yeah. Oof. I don't know. Pitching, yeah, you could go through a few of them, I think. Yeah, especially in the starting. Brandon Woodruff, no. I agree with you. I don't know if I'd put Miz in there. I don't even know if I put Quinn Priester was kind of a breakout last year, right? Mm-hmm. You know, you get double-digit wins. I don't know if Chad Patrick I could see a little bit. And then everybody else, you know, whether it's Logan Henderson or some of the new guys that are coming in, you could throw a lot of those guys into that.
Would you consider Abner Uribe?
I think he was kind of a breakout last year, too.
Yeah.
Because he was so good at – you could have made a case he should have been at the All-Star game for the way for setup. And then, you know, Trevor McGill made it, but then McGill goes out, and then Uribe took over closing and never gave it back. So maybe he kind of started to break out.
Yeah.
But maybe he could really break out this year, if that makes sense. Just kind of getting close to that mountaintop. I think there's more there. He still makes me nervous when he pitches.
Yeah.
He's lights out and such. He still makes me nervous for some reason. Maybe it's just because I need to see it more. I need to see it more from a consistent basis from him.
So does McGill, though. Like, every time he goes out, I'm like, he's either going to be on or walking every batter.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Mark, I don't know if I could try sumo wrestling. I'd probably last like 5 seconds. I'm waiting for living a dream Jeff to say UFC fighting, and there's no way I'm doing that. Boxing, okay. Question we throw out later, a sport that you wish you were more in. I've always said boxing if it was like the Rocky movies, because I'm a huge Rocky fan.
Okay.
I would be a huge boxing fan. Because when I was in college, Sylvester Stallone started a reality boxing competition called The Contender, and I ate that up. Like, I think I would really enjoy boxing now as an adult. Like, I was a kid when Tyson and Holyfield and all that. Boxing would be something I would be really in if it was, like, what it used to be. I don't know if I'd try it, though. I'd really need the headgear and all that stuff. I don't need to be messing up anything over here. But I got a boxing thing at home in the man cave, and I do have a punching bag, but it's currently in the back of my truck in replacement of salt bags or sandbags. So, yeah, that's using that weight towards the back of the truck. It's instead of sandbags, I got one of the big old punching bags rolling around in the back there. So, got to get to some use, right?
Yes.
Got to be put to some use. So, but Mark, how about you try sumo wrestling first, and then you let me know how it goes there, big guy. So, but all right, I got the baseball one lined up. We're gonna try. I am gonna do hockey. See, Bob, can you set me up with maybe your Squirts hockey team?
There you go.
Do it with the kids and that. So, but all right, we're gonna take another break as we wrap up the second hour. We'll have some more fun coming up here too. Continue to send us your breakout Brewers players. I would say just kind of math on some of the messages. It's probably, if we do position players, it's between Mitchell and Frelick, which you picked Mitchell and I picked Frelick. And then pitching-wise, I'd say the majority's around Chad Patrick right now, which I think I could get on board with a lot of that. So, But, hey, you got somebody else? Let us know. Send them on over. All right. We'll take a quick break as we start to wrap up the second hour. Coming up after these quick words. When it comes to fresh, convenient, and delicious, Hy-Vee and Eau Claire, they've got you covered. From farm fresh produce and premium meats to bakery favorites and ready-to-go meals, everything you need is under one roof. Planning dinner tonight, grabbing lunch on the run, stocking up for the week? Hey, Hy-Vee makes it simple. A store that feels like your neighborhood market, just a little bigger. Plus, with daily, weekly, and seasonal specials, there's always something new to discover. Hy-Vee and Eau Claire, where there is a helpful smile in every aisle. We got about 10 minutes left to the top, and then we'll be at halftime here. 2 hours in, 2 more to go. Taking your topic ideas, since it is a Takeover Thursday. Just saw Schefter post this. With the upcoming trips to Australia and Mexico City, along with Atlanta and New York, the 49ers will travel over 38,000 miles this season, more miles than any NFL team has traveled in any one season. That's bonkers. I get, Mexico City and where they're at in California isn't the biggest one, but still, 2 international games for the 49ers. Kind of surprised they're not the Jaguars, for crying out loud, where they're going to be in London for, all those weeks, but 38,000 miles. Man, that's That's a little bit of a run, right? So, yeah, because 49ers going to Mexico City is 3,854 miles. Going to New York is 5,101 miles. So, but yeah, I think Green Bay last year was one of the fewest traveled in terms of miles. I think, don't quote me, but I thought they were one of the teams that didn't, just from average distances and such there. But no, we've got franchise tag is up and rolling right now. Teams can put franchise tags on players and that. We've got the combine coming up in a couple weeks and such. So draft is going to hit a little bit different this year, knowing Green Bay is not going to have a first-round pick. It is. But honestly, I'm still okay because we got Micah Parsons in return with that pick. So my favorite day of the draft has always been day 2, rounds 2 and 3. So as long as we still got our picks there, I'm okay. I'm okay with that. So, but still going to feel a little bit different. Hey, less stress actually when it comes to the first round and seeing where the board kind of lands and such. So do you pay much attention to the combine when it's out, or do you think it's kind of overglorified a little bit?
Well, see, the combine for me is hard because, like, the quarterbacks, like Mendoza's not going to throw at the combine, so he's not really going to be doing anything. Obviously, it's where the wide receivers and the corners run their speed tests, and that's where they can make up some draft stock. But, I mean, I'll pay attention to it a little bit, but not a ton.
Yeah, I pay attention to it a little bit. I do think it gets overblown, and I guess I don't fault quarterbacks for not throwing there because they want to do it in a controlled environment at their pro day with receivers they probably trust and such. But I think that also kind of tends to get over-analyzed and overlooked. You know, like, okay, is it that much of a bigger deal if you're throwing with somebody that you know compared to somebody that you probably don't? I mean, those receivers obviously want to make a good impression too, so it's not like it's me running out their routes and making the quarterback look bad. It's guys that want to be drafted as well. So, and I think too much. And I wonder if it's more of a media thing when it comes to maybe a poor performance from the combine. Does it get overblown from a media and not necessarily from teams? I think, honestly, teams take away more away from the combine when they get to interview players instead of the on-field workout. And it's not to say those workouts don't improve stock. Obviously, speed with wide receivers, as we've seen, if some dude out there like blows by, yeah, that's going to improve their stock. We've seen that with receivers that have broken records and such, and maybe have gotten drafted a little bit too high than what they probably should have been drafted and such. But no, it's the never-ending cycle when it comes to the NFL, right? It's they got to have something going on here. So, but franchise tag wise for Green Bay, I don't think we're going to see anybody getting the tag and that. So, but otherwise, besides the Bisaccia one, it's kind of been fairly quiet when it comes to a lot of other Packers stuff. And I know the coaching staff hasn't been officially announced, and I think now we kind of know why. They were probably waiting to see what Bisaccia was going to do. So, again, I think like we see a lot of teams, whenever they get that coordinator in place, then you're probably going to see the whole new coaching staff announced and such. We know Steno is going to be the offensive coordinator since he didn't get the Seattle job. So, no, you're shaking your head, probably like a lot of Packers fans shaking their head too. So, but yeah, we'll talk to Rob about that coming up around 9:30. See if he's heard any of the latest in terms of special teams coordinator and any other coaching moves and such. Final call, one of the final calls for your questions for Jake Boakes, the conservation warden Fred, who's going to be joining us at 8:30. So if you have any fishing, hunting, any outdoor-related questions, please text those on over right now to our Shoe Doctors bullpen line at 715-830-1912. We'll get back to some more baseball talk as we've got our first spring training game coming up this weekend. One of the questions that we've kind of thrown out there was, who do you think is the breakout candidate for the Brewers this season? Also, it is a Takeover Thursday, so continue to send us your topic ideas. If you think you got a good one, you think you got a fun one, hey, if you got a fun one, we're all about having the fun ones. Send those on over too. I did see really quick for the Olympics for hockey. The Canadian coach said they're not ruling out Mason, or I was going to say Mason Crosby because we're telling Mason Sidney Crosby whatsoever. So I think he's going to play.
Yeah.
I think if there's anything with, like, there's pride on the line for this one. And like you said too, they're hockey players. So they'll be, and I want him out there too. If we do get that USA and Canada, I want it full strength.
Yep.
I want it full strength to if we do get that matchup. Don't want to get too far ahead, but the hockey, I know we'll kind of touch on that maybe a little bit more coming up in the next hour and such, because the Winter Olympics, believe it or not, is starting to wrap up. It's coming down to just the last few days here, which I think maybe some people don't realize it's going to be wrapping up here soon, and then things kind of get back to normal-esque, I guess. So, but if you've been watching the Winter Olympics, you've been watching a little hockey, give us your thoughts on has it been entertaining for you this year? Especially, I mean, yesterday's hockey games, it probably was for you. So, but if you've been paying attention maybe to a little bit, outside of hockey and such, how would you kind of maybe rate the Winter Olympics this year? We also, speaking of hockey, we've got prep hockey playoffs continuing tonight. We've got, you're going to be in Stevens Point, right? With Chi High taking on Stevens Point. So got that matchup. Division One, some other games. Hudson is going to be hosting Tomahawk. Eau Claire Memorial is going to be visiting Superior. And then New Richmond will visit Wausau West. Division 2, Spooner Shell Lake will be taking on Amory Co-op. Rice Lake will be taking on Frederick Co-op. For girls hockey, Eau Claire North Co-op will be taking on West Salem Co-op. Chippewa Falls, McDonald, Menominee will be taking on Somerset Co-op. And then Hudson's going to be visiting Black River Falls Co-op. Speaking of Hayward Co-op will be hosting Medford Rib Lake. So got hockey going on in Hayward and the Berkey. So, all right, shot clock's going to cut us off here in an hour. Get us those topic ideas. Get us those questions for Mr. Jake Boakes. Hit us up, 715-830-1912, or you can hit us up on the video stream where Zach says, good morning, monster hockey game today. Go Team USA. So got another big-time hockey fan, Zach, chiming in with hockey too. So, but, yeah. Oh, and give us some couple more people just chimed in with the sports that they wish they were more of a fan of or could get more into. Boxing, and boxing was one, and golf was the other. So, yeah, if you want to chime in on that too, please feel free to do so, YouTube or on the texting line. So we'll kick off the next hour, probably get back to a little bit more baseball talk some Winter Olympics, and talk a little hockey coming up here before we get to Jake Boakes at the bottom of the hour. And then, of course, we'll get back to some more football talk coming up probably in the 9 o'clock hour. I do want to get to some hoops talk, too, with college basketball starting to wrap up. And obviously, we were talking a little bit about the Bucks earlier, too. So more hoops chat is on the docket as well. 2 in. We got 2 more to go. It's halftime. We've got some news updates, and we'll be right back after these quick words. All right, halftime is over with, and we are entering the third quarter on this Thursday morning. Hey, just a quick reminder. I know weather forecast has changed maybe a little bit, but snow is a good reminder from last night that you should always make sure you're tuning into our website, sportstalk1051.com, for the latest, the WEU 13 News First Alert School Closings, brought to you by Hovland's and ServiceMaster. So, again, just as a reminder, their winter never ends in Wisconsin. It always could pop up with its ugly head, if you will. So, but always pay attention to that, just in case we maybe get another snow event for any school closings or delays. That way, you're never caught off guard. Again, big thanks to Hovland's and ServiceMaster for that. We got really quick. We've got for women's hockey, the bronze events going on right now. It's scoreless between Switzerland and Sweden. And then the gold medal game for women's is at 12-10 today, I believe it is, 12-10. So Team USA, Team Canada with a rematch for that one. So, a lot of you chiming in with hockey. How about this? So, we were talking about this a little bit earlier. People are giving me some suggestions on what I should do for sports events. Give me your top 5 you think hardest things to do in sports. So I think probably number 1 is going to be, for a lot of people, hitting a fastball. A lot of people say, like Dion, who played Major League Baseball and Hall of Fame football player, said that's the hardest thing to do is hit a baseball. That's probably going to be somewhere in the top 5 for a lot of people. Going to do that one. But what are the other 4? I'm open to ideas. All right. And intern Carter, you got to think of a couple too. All right. I'm open to, so what does the Sports Talk Nation, our armchair MVPs, think are the hardest things to do in sports? Covering a 4.3 40 wide receiver or protecting the quarterback from a 300-pound, defensive end. Let's maybe be a little realistic here, because I ain't going to do that. But, I'll say this. I don't think you could pay me enough to try what we do, or what a lot of people do, ski jumping. No. I don't think I could do that. I think I'd break in half. Credit to all of you that could do that, like the Ben Loomises of the world and such. There's no way I could do that. So, but give me your list. What do you think it is? We know baseball's got to be on there. You could include that on there. So, but because I was listening to a little bit of a podcast. It was Busted with the Boys. It's Will Compton and Taylor Lewan, former football players. They had Bryce Harper on there, and they were having some fun. But I think they asked Bryce Harper that question, or what was the hardest sport to play, and I think Will was kind of in tongue-in-cheek, but he's like, oh, yeah, football players can play baseball. And then Bryce Harper's like, no, you can't. You can't hit a 100-mile-an-hour, fastball or a 90-mile-an-hour slider or anything like that. I'm like, yeah, there's no way. Like Paul Skeen's up there. I want some padding, not just with my head. I want to be like the bubble boy and just have it all bubble wrapped in case that ball would just get away. I still might want that when I go in the cage and try to hit one off of a machine. So, got any off the top of your head?
I think, even trying to tackle a running back would be interesting for me. Just because if you're covering somebody, if you guess the right route, it'll be easier. But just tackling a running back coming downhill is rough. I mean, for me, it's golf, man. I just hitting it straight is a tough subject.
I think people think golf is easy, and those are the people who have never tried to play legit golf. It is not easy. It is not. It is one of the most frustrating, one of the most, mentally challenging games that I have ever seen. So, no. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it and I hate it. Love it and I hate it. So, yeah.
Besides that, I don't know.
I mean, the fact that I can't skate probably to get one off of a goal off of a goalie would probably be.
But what kind of goalie? Like, are we talking collegiate goalie, high school goalie.
Yeah. I know. I think a high school goalie could probably stop me too. So.
Well, yeah.
I want to try knuckle puck for real.
Yeah.
I want to really try that. So, but no, we got. I'll be doing the. Got to work. I'm working it out with Varsho to do the fastball one there too. So, Josh said that Berkey is the closest thing to having a real Wisconsin Olympic vibes. Great experience to go check out. Main Street's a party that everyone should experience, even if you're not a skier or a fan of anyone in the race. It's well worth the trip. As a former multiple flight winner on the Thunderfist boxing circuit back in the early 2000s, I'll say training for boxing is way more fun than the actual bouts, even if you're on the winning side of things. Mad respect for anyone who ever steps in the boxing ring. Real man's sport. That I wish that's one I wish I was more of a fan. Like, I feel like I could be more of a fan of boxing. I'm a huge Rocky fan, but I know that's not realistic because you watch those dudes are probably like gone after round 2 for as much as hitting as there is in those Rocky movies. But I wish I was a bigger boxing fan. I wish I could get into it. So that's the one I wish I really could get into. So. All right, keep those coming. We'll get back to some more of those coming up later on. But I got the baseball one all set in stone, so I need some other ideas to go out there. So let's go. Speaking of baseball, we were looking at your breakout players and such. MLB.com had a list of each team's top projected player in 2026. Before you look that up, I'm going to quiz you. Who do you think they picked for the Brewers? Top projected player for the Brewers.
It'd either be Contreras or Churio. I'll go Contreras.
You would be right. Nice job. You get a gold star
there you go.
for intern Carter today. Contreras had surgery to repair a fractured left middle finger in November, but should be ready to go for opening day, setting the stage for another strong year from the Brewers backstop. While his 2025 was a bit of a setback, he was the NL Silver Slugger honoree in both 23 and 24 at catcher and owns a career 805 OPS. Contreras has been an integral part of the Brewers team that had MLB's best record in 2025 and aims to repeat that feat in 2026. So, did you, by chance, I got to double check to listen to it because I don't want to play it in case I could get into trouble. But Pat Murphy's speech to the team.
I didn't get a chance to listen. I've read it.
Yeah.
I've read it. But
I'd have to double listen to it again. But, yeah, it was it gets you fired up a little bit.
He's an awesome manager.
Yeah. He says, we don't care what anyone thinks. We stick to our standards. Talked about, what paper, predictions all say and such. Yeah, if there was one coach in the state of Wisconsin that you could play for, would it be Pat Murphy? Of all the coaches right now that are active, you got Matt LaFleur, you got Pat Murphy, you got Greg Gard. You throw in Mark Johnson for, hockey. I don't know if anybody would want to play for Doc Rivers right now. Luke Fickell, I think I'd want to play for Pat Murphy.
Him or Greg Gard would be the two.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it would be Pat Murphy.
He's got that balance of intensity, but can have some fun. Apparently Sal Frelick is his punching bag for a lot of the jokes and such. But he just I think I'd want to play for Pat. He'd kind of like intimidate me, I think, at times too. I'd really like to see him behind the scenes though with the team. We see some of the stuff out there and in front of the media, and I've heard stories from people who have played with him and such. But I think I'd agree with those two. Matt LaFleur would probably be third for me.
So where does Murphy rank all time in Brewers managers for you?
I mean, just for best?
Yeah.
Some would say it's too early, but he's got 2 Manager of the Year awards already, right?
And, I mean, best record last year.
Yeah.
With this team, too.
I mean, it's hard to deny what Craig Counsell did for a longer period of time. But, man, Pat Murphy, that's why I feel if somehow the Brewers were to win a World Series with Pat Murphy, you might as well build a statue for Pat Murphy.
Yeah.
Outside of AFF Field, because he would be right up there, glorified as one of the best coaches in Wisconsin sports. I'm talking Lombardi. I'm talking, even Mike Holmgren is glorified for the one Super Bowl that he brought back. Pat Murphy would be right up there with him. If somehow, some way, this Brewers team got a World Series, somehow, some way, they would win that thing. He could probably just retire then, not have to worry about a contract, and go off in the sunset and enjoy the rest of his life. But man, I don't want to say best ever yet, because he's just, entering his third year. But man, the dude's won back-to-back National League, and Craig Counsell never did that. Although he probably, I would argue that there was probably a time or two he probably should have won.
Yeah.
Manager of the Year.
There were.
So
there were a couple.
Yeah.
But it's almost like Murphy's like blowing everybody out. Like it's not even close.
And I think part of it, though, too, was there was probably some low expectations. Because when Murphy was hired, I, like a lot of people, thought, okay, it's going to be there for a couple of years, because Ricky Weeks was also announced as the associate manager. I'm like, it's going to be on-the-job training. Ricky Weeks is going to be the manager in 3 years. That ain't happening anymore. And I think the low bar, and even like Mark Anowski, you go to his comments, he didn't really think much about Pat Murphy becoming he gave the impression he didn't think Pat Murphy was going to be the manager. And that's the owner saying that. So I think there was a low bar, and Pat Murphy just completely obliterated that bar and surpassed all the expectations that we had on him as a manager and we had on this team. So I think that's what's really, kind of making that case for him too, because we had that low bar for him.
Yeah.
But I'm glad I don't want him to go anywhere anytime soon.
See, but in my opinion, like I see the low bar as like that was the talent. Mm-hmm. And he's overperformed, and so
yeah.
That's not all on the manager. That's the players playing well. Mm-hmm. But I don't know where we'd be without him. So,
yeah. Yep.
Just for benching Joey Ortiz for getting picked off last year.
Oh, that was Sal Frelick.
Or Sal Frelick.
Yeah.
I hated it, but it probably worked. I don't know.
Well, then he called out Joey Ortiz too for his play. From the offensive side.
I think it was swinging at too many pitches for Joey.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think he's got a great pulse for how to get the most out of these guys and what he can get away with, because that's the thing with managers in baseball. You're not necessarily dialing up X's and O's all the time. You're managing people, right? It's a little bit different. So, John says people say that NASCAR is an easy sport because all you do is turn left, but there's more to it than just turning left. You're turning left going 200 miles an hour. You have to be able to know what's going on with your car so you can relay it to your pit crew, and the reaction time is above and beyond for those drivers. I don't think you could get me into a NASCAR, especially bumper to bumper. No, thank you.
So talking about baseball. So I saw this yesterday. The Phillies signed an 11-year-old.
What?
To a $1.8 million
You're kidding
futures
me.
contract.
Is this serious?
This is multiple sources.
Come on.
I could not believe it. He is an 11-year-old.
Come on. Bring that. I did not hear this. Are you kidding me? Oh, a pre-agreement with Venezuelan shortstop David Basabe, a member of the 2031 international class, for a $1.8 billion bonus at 11 years old, becomes the youngest player in history to secure a pre-arrangement with Major League. Are you kidding me? What?
This is insane.
What? The Phillies aren't the only organization with such pre-arrangement, but this is an agreement of 1.8 with an 11-year-old is one of the more stunning that's been reported over the years. What? Oh, my gosh.
He's still got 5 years before he can actually be a Philly.
Yeah, in around 5 years, the official result of his record-breaking is stunning reported. Oh, my gosh. Are you kidding me? No, okay, we got to stop that. This goes back to a lot of my issues with youth sports, for crying out loud. Because a couple weeks ago, last week or so, I saw they have watch lists for 9U players.
Oh my goodness.
That's my kid. In that range, I'm like, no. Now this is like 2.5 years older than my. Are you kidding me? Can you imagine when you were 11 and you're signing a pre-arrangement contract for 1 point? Okay, cool for the kid. That's like, hey, I'm a but come on, that's
I don't know. I don't know. It's weird. Like
that's insane.
He's got to be otherworldly because
He
at
has
11
to.
years old, there's no.
Can you play that video clip just so I could see what if there's like I gotta see some. Okay, it's a sweet swing, and he's a lefty. So here, like, he's 11. Isn't he going up against other 11-year-olds?
Yeah.
Or has he gone up against 18-year-olds and he's still like dominating against them? Like, where's?
I don't know. I'll have to find something.
That's insane. That's insane. We got to take a quick break anyway. So, yeah, try to find out more. I did not see that. No. Wow. All right. Quick break, but we'll be back after these few words. Accidents happen. Getting back on the road shouldn't be stressful, though. And at Superior Auto Body in Eau Claire, you'll find experienced technicians, quality craftsmanship, and service that you can trust. From collision repair and dent removal to full paint work and insurance coordination, they handle the details so you don't have to. They'll restore your vehicle the right way, safely, professionally, and with attention to every detail. When your vehicle needs expert care, choose from the team that puts quality first. Superior Auto Body in Eau Claire, bringing your vehicle back to life, one repair at a time. Final call for any questions for Mr. Jake Boakes, who will be joining us here in just a few minutes. Please text those on over to us at 715-830-1912. Couple of messages from Zach here. Kicking a game-winning field goal. That's a good one. I'm going to have to find a way to try to kick a field goal. That's going to bring up bad memories from punt, pass, and kick competitions from when I was a kid. Kicking a game-winning field goal, I feel like, would be hard depending on how long and the pressure. I love to golf, and I've been playing for years, and I still feel like I stink. It's so hard. Playing the quarterback position has to be on that list. It's not as easy as just throwing the ball. You have to make a split decision in seconds and read a defense and control the whole offense. Did you find out any more about that kid?
He's fast. He ran a 7.2 60-yard dash, and he can throw 68. Okay. But they don't have anything on him. All it says is he's the most talented prospect in the 2031 signing class.
Okay, so we've heard like colleges recruiting kids at a really young age and such. Now I'm just wondering, like, with the whole NIL, are they going to start to like say, hey, we'll 11-year-olds, 10-year-olds, NIL guaranteed money when they get to college? This is nuts.
Well, I think the crazy thing about it is it's $1.8 million at 11 years old. I mean, that's more than some Brewers players are making. So
yeah, good point. Oh, man, Surveyor says only the MLB has that kind of cash and outrageous spending rules to be able to pay an 11-year-old and a man for 25 years, Bobby Bonilla, at the same time. So, well, that's the thing. Like Ohtani with his deferred money when he's done playing is just, or at the end of his contract, is just ridiculous, too. That is, okay, that's mind-blowing to me. I'm glad you brought that up. That's a perfect Tuesday, grind my gears on a Thursday. All right, enough is enough with this stuff. I know on Thursday we do enough is enough. Enough is enough with, what are we doing? What are we doing with let the kid be a kid? Okay, cool, great. That's, I don't want to take away from the kid, but man, 11 years old? Oh, a lot can happen in like the next few years, right?
What they were saying is he hasn't even grown. Like, he hasn't reached his height yet. He hasn't gotten stronger. There's so much that can change.
Well, what if he doesn't want to play baseball in 2 years?
Well, I think now he's going to.
Yeah, but that's the thing. It's like, what if he's like, hey, parents, I don't want to play baseball anymore. Kids change their minds in a dime, for crying out loud. Oh, man. Like, I don't know if, I know that's like a pre-thing, so I don't know if they would have to like be live. Holy moly.
I would love to be there for the negotiations. Like,
yeah.
What is the 11-year-old like?
How do you value an 11-year-old?
I want $1.8 million, and the Phillies are like, okay, like,
right.
Like, what?
How do you put a value on it? Like, where's the base on, like, there's no example of this, right? Like, how did they come up with $1.8 million?
Yeah, I don't know.
Whoever negotiated that for the kid's got to be, like, super smart.
Yeah.
Yeah. Holy moly. But, man, that's insane. That is insane. I can't even imagine myself at 11. Think about that. That's like, no, you can't even do a lot of stuff before. Wow. Good. I mean, obviously great for the kid. He's talented by all get out, and obviously he's put in a ton of work, but what are we doing as a society giving kids $1.8 million when they're 11? I know we're not giving it to them yet, but still. I worry about parents. What does that do? We've seen parents with their kids who are like stars, and that hasn't worked out well either. Think of Home Alone.
I wonder if more teams will do this, though. Like, not at 11, but kind of go younger. I
wouldn't be surprised now.
Yeah.
It took one team to finally do it, and now you're going to see more. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah, wow. I guess like baseball too, that if there was maybe Football, there's no way. But we have seen teams try to recruit like 7th graders and college and that. Yeah, that's unreal. Unreal. All right, we got to take another quick break, and then we'll get to Mr. Jake Boakes answering your questions. So we'll be right back after these quick words. Hunting season will be here before you know it, and the preparation starts right now. At Tilden Gun, they know serious hunters don't wait until opening day to get ready. Whether you're gearing up for the upcoming spring turkey season or maybe planning ahead for fall, now is the time to make sure that your equipment is dialed in. From shotguns and rifles to optics, ammunition, and must-have accessories, Tilden Gun has the selection and expertise to help you step into the woods with confidence. Maybe it's time to upgrade your setup. Maybe it's time to get that new optic, or maybe it's just stocking up so you're not scrambling later. Turkey season demands precision, patience, preparation. Stop into Tilden Gun and talk with people who understand the hunt because they live it too. Tilden Gun, get ready now so you're ready when it matters the most. Speaking of hunting in the outdoors, we welcome our good friend, Mr. Jake Boakes, Conservation Warden for the state of Wisconsin. Good morning, Jake. How are you?
Good morning. Doing good. How about yourself?
Not too bad, man. Can't complain. It felt like a little spring, fake spring, but now we got some more snow and back, so it feels more like a typical, I guess, February in Wisconsin now.
Yeah. Well, we always get those false springs, right, every year where it seems like, well, here it comes. It feels like it. It smells like it outside. You know, you think about fishing and turkey hunting, and then all of a sudden you wake up and it's winter again. So
Right, exactly. So I got to
it
imagine.
happens every year, and we get fooled every year.
Yeah. I got to imagine, though, Jake, with that warm-up, though, snowmobilers are probably pretty happy. I got to imagine a lot of the trails, at least in our area, are probably closed right now, right?
Yeah. You know, it's white out, but this won't do anything to change, you know, trail conditions or snow conditions and stuff like that. I mean, it's an inch of snow or whatnot, but it's the wet stuff. There's a lot of water. It rained before it. And then looking at the weather, I mean, it looks like it's going to be 35 today, and yeah, it freezes at night, but it's not enough to keep the snow comfortable. It's not enough to really, you know, build ice per se. We're going to maintain ice and whatnot, which is good, especially with some fishing tournaments and stuff still coming up, and plenty of season left. But yeah, I wouldn't get the oil in the snowmobile just yet. You know, I would probably just keep her on the trailer and hope for some more colder weather if you want to sled more or go north. I'm sure the trails are still pretty good up north.
You know, you mentioned fishing and such. Any, you know, because I know we're getting close to that dates, or is it next month when everybody's got to get their shacks off and such? But with the warmer weather, how, and from what you've heard or maybe what you've seen, has that affected any of the ice conditions where maybe people should start to think about taking their shacks off sooner rather than later?
Yeah, I would say so. I think we're about a little under a month left. I think it's like that first Sunday in March where your big permanent shacks are supposed to be coming off. I think maybe the third this year down here. I can't remember exactly off the top of my head, but it's around there. So it's not that far away, but it's never like, you know, most years it's never the ice itself, like the thickness out in the middle, stuff like that, that is going to make you want to consider taking your shacks off early. It's usually the landings. So that's what you really want to be mindful of is being able to, especially if you have a giant, you know, pretty big permanent shack, is that you're going to have to get a big truck and a big shack off the ice or off that landing. And if that landing is recessed or down to the bedrock, you got to be mindful of it. So I did see Altoona had a fair amount of water. You know, people are still driving on and off just fine, but you never know where that ice is strong, where it's not, how far it's recessed and stuff like that, especially when there's so much water on top of the ice. So just be very mindful of that in the next couple of weeks with getting your shacks on and off.
And since you mentioned Altoona, I know they've got a ice fishing contest, a 24-hour contest that's coming up this weekend too. So probably you know, just be even extra aware of ice conditions out there.
Exactly. And a lot of people always ask, you know, are the tournaments canceled, this, that? I haven't heard anything canceling it for the Altoona tournament. I would assume with the amount of prep work and everything that goes on, as long as you can fish, they're going to run a tournament. You know, whether you can take a truck down there or not, if I was running it, I would say just park it up top and go fishing, you know. So I would assume all the tournaments are still going to go on just fine. Again, it's just, you know, can you get a truck out there? Can you get a shack out there? You know, and all that kind of stuff. But it is supposed to, we're not going to necessarily lose ice. It's going to maintain with the weather conditions. So I would think you'd be fine for the next couple weeks still.
Yeah.
But no ice is 100% safe, right?
That's
posted
true.
all over the website. So be mindful of that.
Yeah, I mean, where there's no ice, it feels like it's kind of the rivers, right? I mean, those look like they've kind of opened up and such. So I guess, could you open line fish over there if you wanted to take advantage of that?
Yeah, there's definitely areas where you could probably get the boat out and start ripping. Definitely some of the smaller rivers have opened up. Some of the areas with more current have opened up. The Chippewa River is a year-round walleye fishery, stuff like that. Walleye northern, so you can fish those if you got open water. Panfish is open year-round for everything. Where you got to be mindful of is, like, if rivers and lakes open early, is that once everything's closed up here, a lot of the game fish season is closed on inland lakes and maybe some not main river sources like the Chippewa, or the Mississippi. So you want to just be mindful come March and April where you're fishing and making sure that water body's open. But panfish is always good. You can never go wrong catching panfish.
Yeah, no doubt. I know this was a couple weeks ago when we talked about it, but I wanted to, because I've been seeing videos kind of popping up and such, but the sturgeon spearing season down in Winnebago and such.
Yeah.
I know you mentioned it as quite a bit, but for some reason I've been seeing a lot more videos. Man, that looks like it's almost a party, or it almost reminds me of like opening day of deer season, for as much as people get excited about that. I know you've been around it and such. Is that kind of a comparison? Because I've never been around it,
Yeah.
so seeing these videos, I'm like, holy crap, people really get into that.
Yes. So the short answer is yes. Like, obviously, it's not like the opening of deer season where everyone in the state and from other states are, you see blaze orange everywhere on the highway and yada yada like that. But if you're over in the Fox Valley, if you're over, I don't know what they call Fond du Lac area, if you're anywhere around Winnebago, it is a party. If you're a part of this, they have, people are usually out there Wednesday, Thursday, drilling holes, getting everything ready, if not sooner. But yeah, a lot of like the bars and different restaurants and stuff, they have big sturgeon spearing season parties, white tents, specials, get-togethers, dancing, singing, drinking. It's a great time. Like I mentioned when we were talking last week, is like I really enjoyed it. Everyone is very happy. Everyone's excited. There's a lot of optimism on, this is the year, this is the weekend they get their sturgeon, everything like that. It's a big cultural event out there. So again, I've been putting in some points to get us spearing license hopefully here in the next couple of years, because it was fun working it, and I got to imagine going out there and living it is even more fun.
Right. Okay. I think I might want to add it to my bucket list to try something.
Yeah,
something like that.
Something to do, right? And anyone can get a Lake Winnebago sturgeon tag every year. So if you wanted to do it every year, you can do it every year. Where preference points come in, when you got to get your preference point in by, I think, is it late fall? Is it August? Is it with the bear one? I can't remember exactly, or with the bobcat one. But that's for like the upriver lakes, the Wolf River system type stuff. That area, I think it may be up to like 8-9 years of preference points type thing, kind of like bear hunting up north, because you have such a higher success rate on that system versus Winnebago. Winnebago anyone can do it, which is what makes it fun.
Gotcha. Hey, Jake, a conversation that we had last week, kind of just like in the city, I think we were talking about like rabbits or squirrels or something like that with pelicans and such. Want to revisit that a little bit?
Yeah, no, that's always a good thing to hit. I know we've been doing the show for a few years now, and we hit it always from time to time about jurisdiction. And, I work for the state of Wisconsin, so I enforce state statutes, and, there's things that I can do, just like the federal government, that I can do that they can, and vice versa. And what's important is that, every state, every city, every township has their own set of rules, and it's always something to be mindful of. It's one of the most common things we talk about with the public is people ask, can they put up a stand on county land? It's like, well, that's not our stuff. Like it's public land, but think of it more like it's private land owned by the county, but open to the public. So you got to follow their rules or ordinances or whatnot. And then, we got a few questions after the conversation last week about City of Eau Claire stuff. So yeah, I appreciate you bringing that up. I think it's always good to revisit. The City of Eau Claire is exactly the same way same situation. They follow state law and a lot of stuff, but they also have some of their own city ordinances and such, which are really important because those are what you have to follow, as well as like the state law, no baiting, have a hunting license, stuff like that. So when it comes to discharging like weapons, or if you want to shoot a pellet gun at a rabbit or a squirrel, in your yard because it's a nuisance or something, something to be mindful of is that they do have their own ordinance against firearms, and basically when looking at it, any sort of discharge or propellant is a firearm. So in the city, you're not allowed to discharge a pellet gun, an air rifle, obviously a rifle and stuff like that. So those are really important things. So if you see something or you hear something or you need help, or if you're looking at hunting within the city limits, you got to be mindful. You got to look at their ordinance and stuff like that. I've mentioned it a few times, but I do really like the City of Eau Claire's like deer hunting website. They have a whole page dedicated to like questions and answers for deer hunting. Can I do it? How much land do I need to do it? Do I need to be in a tree stand or not? Can I be on the ground? Da 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 da. So can I hunt on public land like the City of Eau Claire land or not? So it addresses all of that, as well as I think it's even on that page where like what happens if you find a dead deer, and it walks you through what you can do in the city. So it's really important to be mindful of that if you're living in the city, working in the city, or you're coming in to hunt and recreate. Is just be mindful, like they have their own regulations and ordinances just like the state does, and it's something to look at before you go hunting.
Always good to like double check, right? Both sides of almost, I don't know if both sides of the aisle is the right way to say it, but
no, it's the right way to say it, because you go hunting and a lot of us are like, okay, I got my license and it's the season, right? I know I can't shoot a deer at midnight, and those are like the big things, but you got to be mindful of all the other things. When you're out on state land, is it an area you can hunt or not? But when you're in the cities, or when you're in the city, any city, I mean, we're talking about City of Eau Claire, but it could be Lake Hallie, it could be Augusta, it could be, Hudson, whatever. They all have their own website with pages that talk about ATVs, boating, snowmobiles, hunting, fishing, trapping, stuff like that. So it is something you want to look up before you go, to make sure that you're not accidentally violating any city or county ordinances when you're in there. Something that I'm not necessarily going to respond to just because it's not within my jurisdiction or authority, but it's something that the city police officers will, if they get a call or they see you doing something you can't do, and you can get a ticket from them just like you could get from me if you're doing something that's wrong, if you didn't read the regs or whatnot. So it's the City of Eau Claire does a really good job with their website. They understand hunters and they want animals harvested, and they don't want nuisance animals and stuff like that. They do a great job with communication and the website. So really go and look at that if you do have questions.
Yeah, good stuff there. Hey, Jake, before we let you go, anything else that you want to throw out there before we part ways?
No, but we are kind of getting close to that fishing season. So just be mindful that, we're a couple under 2 months. What is it? March 19th, April, May. Yeah, we're under 2 months away from the opener. It looks like it's an early opener this year, so it's May 2nd. So a lot of stuff opens right away on May 2nd, including they moved the trout opener to line up. We have the early inland trout going on right now, but they opened up the inland trout season. They're the same with the general inland fishing season, same with a lot of stuff. So there's a lot more stuff that opens up that first Saturday in May, including muskie. And so there's a lot of, they kind of condensed it more to a general statewide opening for a lot of species this year, which is good because some of us can get out and fish species that we used to have to wait a couple extra weeks for this year, which is good.
Right.
and then our licenses reset March. You can start rebuying your licenses March 1st.
March 1st, okay.
A lot, I guess. Yeah, March 1st. So they have to. Your current licenses expire on March 31st. So April 1st is like when it's the new like 2026 season. So everything's still good through then. But I was talking with customer service staff yesterday, and they mentioned that there's been a lot more people than usual, probably because they want to get outside or something, have been coming in trying to buy their new fishing patrons licenses, stuff like that. But we can't, the DNR can't sell them until March 1st. So I always just encourage people, if you're going turkey hunting this year, you're going to buy your turkey stuff, just buy everything you're going to get when you buy your turkey stuff. That way you can't forget it. Come fall, like, oh, I don't know if I bought my deer license or not. If you just buy it here when you buy your turkey stuff, then you're good to go.
Gotcha. Good stuff as always, Jake. We appreciate the time, man. And stay safe out there too, especially if you have to go out on the ice, okay?
Thanks. No, I appreciate it. I'll be all out and about this weekend, so I'm sure I'll see plenty of people.
Awesome. Jake Bolks, Conservation Warden for the great state of Wisconsin. We'll chat with you again next week, okay, bud?
Sounds great, man. You have a good one.
You too. There we go. There's Jake. Good stuff as always. Hey, we got to take a quick break, but got a little bit of an update in terms of where the Bears might be playing football in their future. So that'll be coming up right after this quick break. Looking for affordable, reliable auto parts? Well, then you need to start with the experts who know vehicles inside and out. At ASAP Used Auto Parts and Conrad's Auto Salvage, you'll find quality recycled parts that keep your vehicle running without breaking the bank. Engines, transmissions, body parts, hard to find components. If you need it, chances are they've got it. Their knowledgeable team helps you find the right part fast, saving you time and money. Whether you're a do-it-yourselfer, a repair shop, or just trying to extend the life of your ride, trust the local pros. ASAP Used Auto Parts and Conrad's Auto Salvage. From salvage to service, one name that you can trust. So it looks like it's increasingly possible, possibly even happening, that the Bears' new stadium might be in Indiana. It looks like there was, not to get all political or anything like that, but a passage was passed in Indiana towards, stadium planning efforts and such. And then, I guess Illinois canceled a meeting today and their legislator, whatever. Again, I don't pretend to understand politics or such, but it seems like it is trending that this is going to go in the direction where the Bears will be in Indiana for their new stadium. Now, to be fair, Wolf Lake is the spot in Indiana, is like 19 miles from Chicago. And then, so it's just right across the border. It's not that much of a big deal. I just think it's one of those, you think Chicago, I'm assuming they're still going to have the name the Chicago Bears. I would assume. I mean, Dallas did that, when they were in Irving, Texas and such. And obviously New York Giants and Jets are actually played in Jersey. So I'm assuming it's still the Bears. So maybe it's getting a little bit over-exaggerated with this type of thing. But I think part of it is just the history and the lore of the Chicago Bears, right? It's always been Chicago, Illinois, Chicago, Illinois, Chicago, Illinois. But if you find out that they're actually playing in Indiana just across the board, it maybe takes away a little. Or we just pay more attention to it, too, because we're in Packers country. So that's part of it. So, I don't know if this would be like a really good example, but it would be like if, the Vikings all of a sudden just started to play in Hudson, kind of just a little bit across the border, but they'd still be like the Minnesota Vikings or something. But yeah, I think it's more for, we're as Packers fans maybe having a little bit of fun with this just because from a trash talk standpoint. And I mean, it's, you got Soldier Field. It's a historic place. It's going to be weird. The other part of this too is like, remember, Kansas City is moving. Kansas City Chiefs are moving. Now, they get the luxury of moving to a state that has Kansas in its name. So I don't know if they're going to be like the Kansas Chiefs or they're going to stay with their name. But, yeah, I mean, maybe we're over-exaggerating it a little bit. But it's still, I think, with an iconic franchise like the Bears moving to just across the border, it's still something. So, but we'll see. That means Indiana technically then would have two teams in their state because of the Colts. And Illinois would not have a football team in their state, which I think would still be kind of weird to think about that. So, but yeah, that's kind of the update. It seems like it's trending in that direction. So, we'll get you also coming up because shot clock's a minute away. Get you an update on the special teams coordinator search. One name that is being reported as he's going to be talking with the Packers. We'll tell you who that is, according to Bill Huber from Sports Illustrated. Speaking of Packers and such, coming up in a half an hour, we'll talk with Rob Demovsky, who covers the Packers for ESPN.com. So we'll catch up with our good friend Rob and maybe get a little bit of insight of what he's hearing with the search and such. So that's coming up again in about a half an hour. In this final hour, too, if you want to send us your TakeOver Thursday topics, what's a topic that you'd like to throw out there for us to discuss, for the rest of our listeners to discuss, please send them on over. And any more enough's enough. So send those on over, and we'll try to get to those in the final hour of the program. So, all right, shot clock's going to cut me off here in like 2 seconds. We've got news updates, and then we'll kick off the fourth quarter coming up in just a couple minutes. Final hour, kick it off right now on this Thursday morning. I was almost going to say Friday morning, but I'm sure a lot of you are wishing it was Friday. But we got one more hour left here. Coming up at the bottom of the hour, we're going to talk some Packers with our good buddy, Mr. Rob Demovsky from ESPN.com. We always appreciate it when Rob takes some time to chat with us and give us his expertise and the latest of what's going on at 1265 Lombardi Avenue. So we got that coming up in about 25 minutes. We'll get back to some more of your texts for your Enough's Enough and your Takeover Thursdays. You can continue to send those on over. Want to get to this really quick. So according to Bill Huber, sounds like Matt LaFleur is working quickly to replace Rich Bisaccia as the team's special for finding the new special teams coordinator, and a name that wasn't really thrown out there yesterday, Cameron Accord. He once was the special teams coordinator under Bill Belichick with the New England Patriots. And actually had one of the better units when he was with the New England Patriots at the beginning stages. The last 2 seasons, though, he has been with the Giants as their assistant coordinator. So that is one name that is being out there that is apparently being interviewed for the job. So at least we got one that's kind of been rumored out there and such. But there's obviously going to be more, right? There's probably going to be more and such. But yeah, that's an example of somebody who has been a coordinator and the last couple of years now has been an assistant coordinator and such too. So we'll see. But yeah, kind of. This is the thing when it comes to special teams coordinators. It's not like defensive coordinators and offensive coordinators, right? Where we could kind of get like, oh yeah, that guy's defense is like awesome, or offense, you kind of get this one's different where it's really hard to kind of say, oh, that's a great hire. Although I will say, when Rich Bisaccia was hired in Green Bay, everybody loved it because I think what helped in that aspect was he was just coming off as being an interim head coach with the Raiders. So, and he led the Raiders to the playoffs. So I think that's what helped a lot of people with the assumption like, oh, our special teams are going to be awesome because we're bringing in a guy who just led a team to the playoffs as our special teams coordinator. Don't have that guy out there right now, right? We don't have that guy that's out there. So I'm not going to pretend to say, oh, this is a great hire and all that. It's such a wild card when it comes to special teams because I think part of it too is going to be, is the front office going to dedicate resources, AKA roster spots, to special teams players? Are starters going to play? What's the gauge there? So I don't know. But
so if I had to ask you for next year, do you think our special teams is going to be better, worse, or the same?
I will say better because I do feel like there's going to be more of an emphasis this offseason to improve it, if that kind of makes sense. Because you cannot, and you can say they've been continuing this throughout the longest time, and they have, but you just cannot continue to keep doing what they're doing with, like, Daniel Whelan has been awesome, and I think he's going to continue to be better. I do wonder how much McManus, that quad injury affected him this year. I don't know. I feel like there's going to be more of a commitment to get better because we got to stop losing games with special teams. It's just, we got to stop that. And the big unknown is going to be whether, because it was when Rich Bisaccia first was brought on board, I know Green Bay made a couple of signings with special teams in mind. One of them was Rudy Ford. I believe the other safety was Sean Leavitt, who was with the Raiders. Those were thought of as like, okay, those are just special teams moves. Now, Rudy Ford ended up getting some playing time because of injuries and such at safety, but those were thought of more as like, this is where we're going to boost up special teams. So the thing for me, you got to find a returner. That to me is like the primary one. The primary one. Find a returner. Find somebody dedicated for that. Maybe it can be Savion Williams going forward. Maybe if he's more comfortable. I don't know. but he didn't look that comfortable returning kicks last year. But we can't be throwing out Josh Jacobs to return kicks in a playoff game. If you're throwing Josh Jacobs in a playoff game to return kicks, you know you got nothing, next to nothing out there. So that's what I want. I don't know if it comes to the draft. I don't know if they can find, one name you got out there that I would be all about, but I think he's going to make a nice payday because of this year is Rashid Shaheed. But you look at, that's a move that Seattle made by the trade deadline. Mm-hmm. And look how effective he was with special teams. Just the threat of having somebody there too alters that course. But
yeah, I don't know, because they had McCole Hardman.
And they let him go, and then he ended up catching on with Buffalo and making some plays.
Playing well.
Yeah.
Yeah, they definitely need a kick returner. That needs to be up there on the list. The problem is, as I'm looking at it, there aren't a ton of free agents that are kick returners, which means likely you'll have to do it through the draft.
Yeah.
And the Packers hate doing that. 7th round is for offensive linemen. So I don't know. I don't know how they'll do it, but they definitely need somebody. I mean, even Sky Moore.
Or you tell Keyshawn Nixon, hey, you're back to returning.
Mm-hmm.
You're an all-pro for that reason. You're back to returning kicks and punts.
I do think, though, then you need a number one.
Oh, yeah.
Corner.
Yeah.
Like, you can't have Keyshawn as your one corner and your one kick returner.
And I know Jaden Reed but I don't know if I want Jaden Reed returning punts. I think he could do it. I don't know.
He's too valuable to our offense.
Yeah.
Well, like you said, I mean, we could sign Greg Newsome and then send Nixon back there to return kicks.
Mm-hmm. Eric Stokes had a good year with the Raiders too, but I don't think that one's. Greg Newsome's a name I've been seeing quite a bit, potentially maybe for a Green Bay signee, but I don't know how much. A lot of it's going to be coming down to money such too. So, but I think here, what's
3-year, $27 million.
Okay, so $9 million. That ain't.
It's not bad.
That's not bad. Just makes that Nate Hobbs one look worse now.
Yeah, it does.
Golly, that just I think in the coming weeks, I should say, you're probably going to see some of that roster movement of Elton Jenkins, Rashawn Gary, clearing up that they have to at the beginning of free agency, which is less than a month away. So maybe some restructures and such for some of these guys too. How old? Okay, Elton is a couple years older than Aaron Banks. Okay, I wasn't quite sure, but yeah,
like you said though, I'm interested to see when they start making their moves. Like, is it after they get their coaching staff or?
Yeah. I mean, really, you can't sign free agents right now, so there really isn't no rush to do it, and you don't have to get under the cap until day one of free agency. But I'm sure we'll probably in the next couple weeks here start to get into that or opening up some of that space and such too. So.
Yeah.
And then they got to decide 5th-year option on Lucas Van Ness. They got to do that this year if they're going to pick that up, which I think they're going to, just to play it safe. I do think they're going to, kind of like what they did with Devontae Wyatt, where they picked it up with him, but they didn't do it with Quay. But, yeah, that cap hit's going to be – because that's a guaranteed cap hit too, so that's going to be a tough one to kind of figure out. But
maybe they'll try to extend him almost.
Maybe, yeah. I wouldn't mind if they try to extend Devontae Wyatt to lower that nearly $13 million cap hit that he's got this year. Just to kind of lower that a little bit, too. But, yeah, lots of interesting moves to be made, no question. John says, would you rather have a top 3 quarterback and a mediocre roster or a stacked roster with the 12th best quarterback?
Well, that puts in the question, like, how high is Sam Darnold? Because
the first person team I thought of.
Yeah, like the Seahawks have a really good roster, but a mediocre quarterback, where the Bills have Josh Allen, and so
I think certain quarterbacks could carry you a long way. Patrick Mahomes, that sort of stuff. Tom Brady. Obviously, you had Gronk and you had good defense and such, but was there other Hall of Famers on there? No, there wasn't. I think the easy answer is probably the 12th best quarterback in a loaded roster. I think that's probably the easiest. But I guess with the top 3 quarterback, you know what you're going to be getting almost year in and year out, right? You kind of have that consistency. You have that basis there. I think it's been proven you can win multiple ways.
I think more than like a 12th best quarterback, the contract is what matters.
That's probably the biggest
Because Sam
one,
Darnold is only $30 million. Jordan Love is, I think, $60 million. And his cap only going to be 36 for the next year, but he's paid a lot more than that. And so just like I think Jordan Love's a top 10 quarterback, but the contract is what hurts.
I think if you do have that quarterback though too, you have to be able to draft well. That's the thing. Like if you have a really good quarterback and you're going to pay a quarterback, as soon as you get a quarterback, you're going to pay him. You know, no team is going to say, okay, we're going to run this, through your rookie deal, and the guy's really good. Like, he's really good. They're not going to say, okay, thanks for playing. We're going to go draft another quarterback. If you get that quarterback, you're going to pay him. That's every team is going to do that. They're not going to go in there with a mindset, hey, we're going to try to find the 15th, a middle of the range type of quarterback, sort of thing. So if that's the case, then you almost have to change your philosophy a little bit. We got to make sure we draft well to surround that player with talent. That's why you see so many teams, when they draft a quarterback now, what do? They spend in free agency. If they got a rookie quarterback, they're going to spend in free agency to try to build around that to take advantage of a low cap hit from their rookie quarterback. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Bears tried doing that with Mitchell Trubisky, didn't work out. Right? That's when they got Khalil Mack, and now that didn't work out. I think the Bengals went with Joe Burrow was still under a rookie contract. I believe that was the case, but 49ers for crying out loud with Brock Purdy, they weren't paying him anything. Russell Wilson when he won with Seattle, they weren't paying him anything. So even Aaron had a decent contract when he won in Super Bowl 45, but yeah, it's hard to make that because it's not, you're not going to have a team that's going to sit there and say like, okay, we just want a mid-range quarterback and build it. You get your quarterback, then you kind of like, okay, you lock it up and then you build around that. You build differently, but you build around that.
Well, and like having a top 3 quarterback and let's say paying him all the money, well, then your special teams better be disciplined. Your defense better be disciplined. Your offense better be doing their job. Your line better run block. Like,
yep.
You can have a quarterback, but then the rest of your team needs to be players that can at least do their job.
A top 3 quarterback can cover a lot of deficiencies on your team, but it can't cover everything.
He doesn't pass rush, right? He doesn't kick return. So
I mean, the perfect example was Aaron Rodgers in like post 2011. Dude covered a lot of deficiencies. They didn't have great defenses. They won a lot of games. Probably should have won another Super Bowl and such, but couldn't cover everything. He led them a long ways, but ultimately fell a little bit short, probably because, well, they didn't do enough on the defensive side or they didn't draft enough to get that talent. So, all right, we got to take a quick break. We got Rob coming up in about 12 minutes or so. So we'll be right back after these quick words. When it comes to glass, clarity matters. At Post Glass and Mirror in Chippewa Falls, you'll find expert craftsmanship and dependable service for your home, business, or vehicle. From custom shower doors and mirrors to window replacement and auto glass repair, they do it all, and they do it right. Whether you're upgrading your space or fixing a crack before it spreads, Post Glass and Mirror delivers quality that you can see. Local, experienced, and trusted. Post Glass and Mirror in Chippewa Falls. Clear solutions built to last. So we'll get to Rob here in about 8 minutes towards the bottom of the hour. Excuse me. So we're going to talk to him about special teams coordinator search for the Green and Gold and kind of the early goings of this Packers offseason and such, and get his kind of take on some of the coaching moves and that has been reported out there for Matt LaFleur and that. So that'll be coming up here in just a little bit. We've got hockey going on. Do I have the Olympic hockey? 1-1 for Switzerland, Sweden in the bronze event for women's hockey right now. The Team USA and Team Canada gold medal event, 12-10 today. So 12-10. So, but you gonna try to check that in before you head on the road to call some hockey games yourself?
I got some college stuff to do.
Yeah.
But yesterday it was kind of like turn down the volume, do my homework, and kind of pay attention to the games. So
Yeah.
probably a little bit of that today.
Yeah. No doubt. That's why we need the TVs in the studio. I'm waiting for our engineers. Come on. We gotta. Yeah. It's supposed to be right there.
Yeah.
Right there. Should have had them up with the Olympics going on, so we could be watching something right now. Just throwing it out there.
In the making, right? In the making.
I've been told that for a while now, and there's nothing going on. No movement yet.
Send a complaint.
That won't go. That will go very far. Yeah, exactly. I might just bring my own in and just all right, there it is.
There you go.
So we got that going on. Quick update on the medal counts for the Olympics. You still got, Norway leading the way with 34 overall medals, 16 gold for Norway. That's the most as well. Italy's got 26 total and 9 golds. And then USA, 24 total medals with 7 gold medals on there. So I think U.S. has the most silver, if I'm reading that right. So, but yeah, just a few more days left, and then the Olympics is going to be all over with. All right, we're going to take our next break so we can get to Rob here coming up at the bottom of the hour. So quick break, and we'll talk some Packers with Rob Demovsky from ESPN after these quick words. We're in the off season of Green Bay Packers football, but there's always plenty to talk about when it comes to the Packers, especially when they're still finalizing their coaching search and looking for a new special teams coordinator. We got the combine, we got franchise tags, all that is coming up, and helping us break it all down is our good friend from ESPN.com, ESPN NFL Nation Packers reporter, Rob Demovsky, and also #1 Blue Gold men's basketball fan, Rob Demovsky. Good morning, Rob. How are you doing, sir?
Dan, how are you?
Not too bad, man. Not too bad. It's kind of weird to say that we've only got like one more Blue Gold basketball game left on the regular season. It feels like this season just flew on by.
Yeah, what a crazy season it was, man. We started out 11-0 and just some struggle during the conference play.
Oh, are you still there, Rob?
Yes, I am. Do you get me?
I think we got a little bit of feedback. Let's try this again here. So.
How about now? You got me?
Yeah, I got you a little bit better. Yep, that sounds a little bit better. So, but yeah, season flying on by for the Blue Gold. So, but
yeah, what a crazy season. They started out so good, 11, and the conference has been a bit of a struggle for them.
Well, I think we kind of lost it again. All right, we'll try to maybe get that connection going here quick. So, all right. Sometimes we just have some audio technical difficulties there. Blame the intern Carter, right? So, but let me try again there. See, this is where you got to fill in time when you're by yourself here, Carter, right? When you don't have somebody. See, give you a play-by-play. I'm texting right now, so. All right, here. We're going to try giving him a call back, okay? All right, let's do this. Resets. See, this is the play-by-play that you wanted, man. Here we go. Oh, where did it go? Here, this one. No, go back. This is what you get with the new system, too. You don't know what the heck you're doing on half this stuff here all the time. So, all right. 2-0. We're getting there, peeps. Hold on. Just hold on.
Eventually, he'll be back.
Eventually. Carter, tell us about the day you were born while we do this. No, I'm just kidding. Just trying to get you to fill in some time for me here. So,
well, it was the day I was born. So.
That's there you go. Right? That's one day. So, really quick, were you going to be doing some play-by-play again tonight?
Yep. Tri-High hockey playing Stevens Point tonight. Going down. Should be fun. Playoffs are always a different kind of atmosphere. But I've called a couple games not playoffs, so it should be more fun than those.
Right. So, all right.
Hey, Dan, is that any better?
That is better. How you doing there, man? Good. Yeah.
Good. I'm good. Sorry about that. I don't know what the deal was.
No worries. Just glad it worked out. So, man, I know it's the off season for Green Bay and such, but we still got a lot of storylines here. And just recently, the Rich Bisaccia news of stepping down as special teams coordinator. So, let's start with that, Rob. Kind of late in the game or in the process.
Very.
Was this maybe a little bit of a surprise to you because it was so late?
Yeah, I mean, they obviously had a new defensive coordinator with Jeff Hafley getting the Dolphins job, and they got that taken care of fairly quickly. And then it was earlier this month, we talked to Brian Gutekunst, the general manager, and the topic of special teams, and Rich Bisaccia came up. And he, at that time, I believe it was February 4th, he left no doubt that Rich Bisaccia would be back. I mean, he talked about how much Bisaccia means to their culture and how much the players love him. So yeah, very, very big surprise that by the time we got to, mid-February, something had changed and Bisaccia had decided to step down. And by all accounts, it sure seems like that's what it was. I mean, it doesn't seem like, the Packers moved on from him or Matt LaFleur fired him. It seems like this was Bisaccia's decision. Why that is at this point, not sure. But it definitely leaves them in a difficult spot because, Dan, there were 10 head coach openings, and I'm pretty sure most of them, if not all, have hired special teams coordinators for their new staffs, which leaves the Packers in a little bit of a bind. Some of the best candidates obviously have already been snatched up. Even Rich Bisaccia's assistant, Byron Storer, got the head special teams job at Cleveland. So, if they had wanted to promote from within, that would have been the guy, and he's off the market. So, going to be very interesting. Matt LaFleur might have to get creative. Maybe they find go to the college ranks. Maybe there's a veteran guy who has maybe been out of the league for a little bit, or you take a chance on a young up-and-coming assistant somewhere, but, that's obviously risky.
Yeah, and that's the thing, I think we're all trying to figure out, but Matt LaFleur's also kind of shown that he doesn't really need that personal connection with him, right? I mean, you look at the last couple defensive coordinator positions, Jeff Hafley did sound like he, knew him all that well beforehand, now Jonathan Gannon. So I think a lot of people are looking like, okay, does he have any friendships? But how much do we really kind of factor that into trying to figure this out?
Yeah, no, I don't think that's a huge factor. Obviously, all these guys are they hire guys they're comfortable with, and that's whether they were comfortable with them because they worked with them, or comfortable with them because they came highly recommended, or just interviewed really well. And I believe that was the case with Jonathan Gannon. There was, no real connection there at all, and the LaFleur, liked him so much that he didn't want to lose him and wait to interview Jim Leonard, that he decided he better hire, Jonathan Gannon right away. So I think, that's why I think anything is on the board here for special teams. And look, this is it's a hire that I feel like I say this every time it's open. They've got to get this right. Mm-hmm. And this goes back to even before, Matt LaFleur. I mean, the last special teams coordinator here who wasn't fired before obviously this just happened, I believe was in 1998 when Mike Holmgren left and his special teams coordinator Nolan Cromwell went with them to Seattle. Otherwise, every special teams coordinator the Packers have had since then has been fired, and including three that Matt LaFleur, two that Matt LaFleur fired and then hired Bisaccia. And now he'll be on his fourth special teams coordinator, whoever that is. I
know Goody had mentioned in his presser that somebody had asked him about, focusing on special teams and such. And he mentioned that he feels like they do maybe a better job than when Ted Thompson did it, because he kind of talks about Ted Thompson, maybe didn't believe in and answer. But is that, do you kind of agree with all that? Because I think a lot of fans probably said they did agree with that analogy.
Yeah, I think I have a hard time buying that as well. I would agree probably with those fans. I mean, they've never just kept the guy strictly for special teams. Not that a lot of teams do. They always want guys to be backups at other positions. And to me, like it's part coaching too, in terms of willingness to use starters on special teams and key players. I mean, they basically let Keyshawn Nixon dictate that he wasn't going to return kicks anymore after he said, look, I don't want to do it anymore after the 2024 season. And he didn't last year. And he's really good at it. And I understand his role as a full-time cornerback was going to be greater than it was the year before. But, at some point you have to make a commitment both from a roster building standpoint and from a coaching standpoint that, we are going to commit to this a little bit more than we have.
Rob, I know we got free agency coming up, and teams can use franchise tags and such. And one position I kind of wanted to get your take on it that really we haven't heard a whole lot of, at least from a fan's perspective. How important should it be for Green Bay to address that backup quarterback position, considering we saw how important Malik Willis was the last couple of years for this team?
Yeah, I mean, basically Malik Willis won them 3 games, right? Mm-hmm. If I have that right. I mean, he won them the 2 games he started, and then the Jacksonville game that he finished. Now, I don't know, I guess he didn't exactly win them, any games this year, right? Now, he did keep them in the Chicago game in the regular season, kept them in that game and went to overtime. But, it's very important. Desmond Ridder is a guy they picked up late in the year. After I guess it was after Clayton Tune started and then got cut in Minnesota. So, Ridder is an interesting guy. He's been around a while, but, whether that's whether it's a draft pick or another veteran type signing, or even like a trade like they did with Malik Willis, they're going to have competition for that backup job. They're not just going to hand it to Desmond Ridder. So I think it's definitely something to keep an eye on, because look, we all know or at least we think we know that Malik Willis is going to get much bigger money, not necessarily like major blockbuster quarterback money, but much bigger money than the Packers probably can afford to spend on a backup quarterback. And Malik Willis is going to get a chance to go compete somewhere. I don't know if anybody's going to hand him a starting job, but someone's probably going to pay him, somewhere in the 12 to 16, 18 million range to either compete for a job or have a chance to.
Do you see Green Bay, if you look at these free agents, the Rasheed Walkers, the Quay Walkers, the Romeo Dobbs and such?
Yeah.
Do you see any of these guys coming back to Green Bay?
It's a great question. Dan, I wrote a piece last week about raising the possibility that all those guys could be gone. They have basically 6 key unrestricted free agents. I think the guys you mentioned, plus Sean Ryan and Kingsley Enagbare. Those honestly, those last 2 I mentioned would probably be the 2 maybe more likely to be re-signed. I don't see any world in which they re-sign Romeo Dobbs or Rasheed Walker. Quay Walker, they would like to, but I don't know if that's a luxury that they can afford at this point. Who else? You mentioned one other guy other than Ryan and Walker. Willis is the other one.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think it'd be probably if they could get Kingsley Enagbare back for, 8 or 10 million. That's probably not a bad deal. They have typically not re-signed some of those interior offensive linemen the last couple of years. They've let Josh Myers and John Runyon go, so that probably works against Sean Ryan. But he played very well at center, and I would assume that they're going to move on from Elton Jenkins.
Was it last year at the Combine, too, when Goody talked about, wanting to extend Quay Walker instead of the fifth-year option and just kind of wanted to extend him and lower that cap hit, and now nothing has happened there. Is that a little surprising they weren't able to get anything done for him?
Yeah, maybe. I think that, I think Quay had said midway through the year that they had been negotiating and made it even sound like there might have been an offer on the table. I'm not really sure how firm an offer that was, or if they were just having preliminary talks, but that would be the one guy that out of that group that, if you had your pick that you would like to re-sign for a number of reasons. One, he's played pretty well, and 2, it's a position where, they're not as deep as, say, receiver. I mean, Dobbs is just, he had a really nice finish to the season, but they have so many other options at receiver that you don't really have to spend that money. But Quay Walker is at a spot where really the only other guy, that you could even think about filling in for him would be Tyron Hopper, who's played very sparingly over the last couple of years since he was a draft pick in 2024.
So the Combine is next week, if I so like can you kind of give us a little peek behind the curtain, like what's that day like for somebody like you that goes over there and covers that?
Yeah. So, no, for me, like a lot of people think that we go to the Combine to watch all the college players work out and look at the bench press numbers, and that for me and a lot of beat writers, that's not exactly the primary focus of the Combine. It's more to be able to talk to your team personnel. Like, for example, Brian Gutekunst will hold another session with reporters, even though he just talked like 2-3 weeks ago. But we'll get a chance to get him. And then honestly, it's the opportunity to bump into, scouts from the Packers, scouts from other teams, assistant coaches, agents. That's where a lot of the free agent groundwork is laid. I mean, you'll walk through the convention center in Indianapolis or any of the hotel lobbies, and you'll see, Russ Ball talking to any number of agents, about guys that they have. I mean, you're not supposed to technically talk to players on other teams, but let's just be real here. Let's say they're going to talk to Elton Jenkins about either cutting him or trying to work out a revised contract. Well, that agent's got 15 other players that are going to be free agents. So don't tell me that the Packers and other teams aren't asking those guys, hey, so what do you think so-and-so is going to do, or what's he looking for? Same with, they'll meet with Romeo Dobbs' agent, same thing. He's got a lot of clients as well. So that's where a lot of the groundwork for it's like the pre-tampering period that happens in the NFL. And I think that's a lot of what happens there. To be honest with you, as a reporter, it's a lot of roaming the hallways and hanging out and waiting for people that you might want to talk to get a little nugget of information from. That's more what it's about. By the end of the week, we'll have all the results of all the testing and the workouts and the physicals and all that stuff. But that sort of comes out after the combine. Fans, I'm sure, probably love to watch, NFL Network and them showing the 40-yard dash times. But I'll be honest with you, that's not the stuff that I go to the combine for.
Last question here for you, Rob. I know some fans are wondering, why hasn't there been any announcements yet on the coaching staff and such? Is it just something as simple as LaFleur just going to get all of them settled and make one big announcement like we've seen before?
Yeah, that's the way he prefers to do it for some reason. And if I'm not mistaken, I don't even think the coaching staff was formally announced last year until April. I do remember being at the NFL owners meetings last year, and which is in late March. And I mean, we were asking LaFleur, and he was talking about all of the new hires. I think that time it was like, DeMarcus Covington, the D-line coach, was the big new one. And he was obviously talking about it and hadn't even actually been announced yet. So, I think we know some of the hires. We certainly don't know all of them. Some of the lower level assistants had probably honestly already been filled. And we just don't know who they are. But yeah, it's nothing like they haven't filled these or they're having trouble filling these for whatever reason. The Packers, and as you know, Dan, some of these teams announce like, oh, we have just interviewed this guy for this job. Packers do not do any of that.
Yeah,
they do not announce who they've interviewed for any job. It's just sort of always the way they've operated and made it up to us to try to scramble and find that stuff out. And hopefully we find out as many of those as possible to pass that along to the fans.
Well, you do an amazing job. He's Rob Demovsky, ESPN NFL Nation, Packers reporter. Appreciate the time as always, sir, that you give us here in Eau Claire, and travel safe next week over at the Combine. Okay.
All right, I'll be in La Crosse for the Blue Gold's regular season finale on Saturday, hoping that maybe they can finish it off with a win.
Well, hey, the last time you watched La Crosse and Blue Golds, they came away with a win, right?
Yeah.
So maybe you're the best. You're the good luck charm. So.
And that was also the day that Matt LaFleur signed his contract extension, which I wrote in the middle of the Sonic text.
I wasn't going to say that, but I was kind of watching. I'm like, is that what you're doing over there? So breaking news and watching hoops. So.
Yeah.
But maybe you'll have something to break that day too. So who knows?
Who knows? Best of both worlds, right?
Exactly. Well, thank you, Rob. We appreciate it, and
all right.
best of luck.
You got it, Dan. Anytime, my friend. We'll see you.
Thank you. There you go, Rob Demovsky. Again, ESPN.com. Make sure you check him out on the X at Rob Demovsky. Also, ESPN.com. Take a quick break. Plenty more to get to here in the final 15 minutes. We'll be back in just a couple minutes. Big thanks again to Rob for joining us and chatting some Packers. If you missed portions of that conversation or you missed the whole conversation, we'll put it up in our podcast, the Man Cave podcast, a little bit later on this morning. So make sure you're following or subscribing to the Man Cave podcast. We only got about 8 minutes left to the top of the hour, so don't really have any games to pick from, because we've got hockey, Olympics kind of going on and such. Although we do have NBA games picking back up tonight, so we can do some NBA picks here, as Bucks are not in action until tomorrow. But let's do this. Let's go Houston taking on the Hornets of Charlotte. Intern Carter, who do you got?
Rockets.
Yeah, I'll go Rockets too. We've got Brooklyn taking on the Cleveland Cavaliers. Cavs. Atlanta taking on the Philadelphia 76ers.
Sixers.
Yep. Pacers, Washington. Whew.
Neither.
Yeah, right.
I'll go Wizards.
I'll go Pacers. Yeah. Detroit at New York. That should be a good one.
Detroit.
New York's actually favored by 4.5. I'm a little surprised at that. I'm going to go
really?
Detroit too. Toronto at Chicago.
Toronto.
Phoenix at the Spurs. Spurs. Boston, Golden State. No Steph Curry, it sounds like.
Boston.
Orlando and Sacramento.
Orlando.
Same. Denver, Clippers.
Nuggets.
Yep, Nuggets too. So, all right, those are some of your gold medal, women's hockey, Canada, USA.
Women's are going to.
USA?
USA is going to win by.
Yeah. You think they shut them out again?
I don't think they shut them out just because Canada was out their best player, but I could see it 4-1, 5-1 finish.
I think it's going to be Team USA. But yeah, you're right. I don't think they shut them out again. So I think it's going to be gold for Team USA, and hopefully that means the men's team can, for USA, get the gold this weekend too. So, but you think it'll be Canada USA for the gold medal match for men's?
I do. I think maybe it was a wake up call a little bit. Like we're not going to breeze through it. So kind of got to get our act together. But they're obviously the most talented teams.
Okay.
It's not to take anything away from these other teams, but yeah, they should. So
yeah. So, all right. So we only got about 5 minutes left here. Got trying to see. Oh yeah. Again, it sounds like it's going to be Bears going to be in Indiana. So all right. They're not changing the name though. It's still going to be Chicago Bears. So whatever. It is what it is, right? So, you ready for a little spring training? Has baseball started to kind of creep in for you a little bit now?
I'm getting excited for sure. Saturday. I've never been excited about spring training, but I'm kind of interested to see how Made does. Or not. He's spring training roster. Just to see how he kind of adapts to it. Because there's nothing he can do, I don't think, to put him in the conversation for this year. But just the fact that he's, I think he's 18,
yeah.
And he's playing against MLB pitchers. It's crazy.
I don't know if we'll see him this year. I think next year for sure we're going to see him at the major league level.
Yeah.
And to me, that's going to be interesting to see what position he's going to come up and maybe, shortstop, second, third, you got Jeff Williams factored into this thing. I don't want Bryce Terang to go anywhere. So it sure seems like maybe not this year, but in 2027, if we have a baseball season, that's the other part. Is that left side, that infield, going to be a combination of Jet Williams and Jesus Mate with Bryce Terang at second? Or does Bryce Terang move over to short? I feel like 2027, those three guys are going to be in the infield.
Yeah.
It's got to be, I feel like.
Which I kind of hope Joey Ortiz does have a little bit of a good year, because then you could probably trade him for somebody. But I'm wondering if they're going to sign him.
Jesus Mate?
Yeah, to it, like kind of like Churio. I don't think it'll be this year. Maybe next offseason. But I'm really excited to see how he is.
Yeah, he, I think, opened up some eyes last year. You look at where he started off at single A, then went to high A, then double A. I think you're going to see him at triple A, this year. And then, 2027 sky's the limit for him, I think. I mean, the fact that, I wonder what's his best position. Is it shortstop? I wish I knew what they're thinking. Is it Jet? Is it Jesus? Who's the starting shortstop in 2027?
I would love to see him at shortstop.
Yeah.
Did Churio come up straight from AA? Didn't he? Right?
Yeah. Or did he? Yeah.
I don't think he played AAA.
No. So I mean, it's possible, but Churio was a little bit older.
Yeah.
A little bit, just a skosh, maybe like a year older, possibly. But yeah, I'm trying to find a breakdown of the different positions that Jesus Mate has played in for his minor league.
See, here's something. Churio signed with the Brewers $1.9 million. An 11-year-old's about to make $1.8 million.
Yeah, Churio signed that international free agent on January 15th of 2021 with a $1.9 million. Think about that. So Churio signed as an international free agent January 15th, 2021. That was only 5 years ago. And now he's making a boatload more, but still. Yeah. So he was 16? Yeah, because he's 21 right now. So he was 16 when he signed that. Phillies just gave about the same amount of money to an 11-year-old. Wow. That's just nuts. I still can't get over that. That's crazy. That's crazy to me. So, all right. Shot clock's going to cut us off here. And I was trying fielding. Okay. I got fielding. All right. So, majority 2025, he played shortstop 55 games. Third base, he played 8 games. Second base, he played 8 games. So majority at short, but he did get some time at second and third. But yeah, it looks like a majority is shortstop. So, all right.
I also think you could see Andrew Fisher maybe next year.
There's the other. Brock Wilkins at third base is a power third. So we're running out of spots here.
Yeah.
Maybe they can't afford Bryce Turang and he goes out. I don't know. It's going to be a weird next few years. Yes. Can we sign Sal Frelick to an extension just to make sure he stays around too? This is the greatest baseball player of all time we're talking about with Salvatore Frelick. I want another summer of Sal.
And he's not going to be too expensive, so
right.
Get it done.
Yeah. All right, shot clock's going to be there 20 seconds. Safe travels to Stevens Point later on to cover some hockey.
Yeah, so thank you.
You got it. Tomorrow morning, you know the drill. It's Friday, so we'll have Pump the Brakes Full Throttle, Cream of the Crops. We'll do some local sports roundup with Brandon Berg, Inside the Training Room with Dr. Crow. All that on a typical Friday. Have a good rest of your day. We'll be back at it at 6 a.m. tomorrow. We'll see you then.